Recording in progress. All right, here we are, back in Tal'Dorei, or under Tal'Dorei this time. And hopefully I'll be keeping up with the calendar a little better from now on, now that we figured out that little mistake I had been making. Thanks, Matt Mercer, for doing too good a job at making a campaign world. Okay, so where were no way did I forget to
Wait, what was the mistake?
Oh, that so I had been tracking the calendar days by like measures of 30
Oh, right,
every
they're
single
not
time.
yet.
Yeah, so I'm just missing a day here and there, that's all. I'm considering giving you guys back a couple days or something like that, but I don't know. It's not important right now.
Are you taking our 100-day anniversary back?
No, well, maybe. I don't know. Probably not. Probably not. Okay. So let's find out what's been going on. First and foremost, Glint Grimhelm apparently is officially a member of the Aurora Concordant, per being stabbed many times by a needle to have a tattoo installed on his body by a Joseph Baffleblock, a tattoo artist in the Dockboard who is very mediocre at her job. I'm gonna write that in there so I remember this. Gnomish tattoo artist. Okay. With that, you guys decided that the time was, well, actually, Glint took some time to copy in the water-breathing scroll into his book. And then you decided the time was nigh to begin your adventures. So you pulled up to Joman Tosh and he said, very good. And you followed him down into the sewers where he took you through his best-known entrance through the Volnethro Journal and into the Crystal Fen Caverns. You journeyed with him for a couple of hours around the end of the day, maybe like 4-ish hours, doing various things, traveling around, gaining information, having a strange flying praying mantis or a stingray-like aberration wrap around your head. It was very funny. You missed it, Finch, but because you weren't here, my justification for you not getting involved was that you were having a very important conversation with Beverly about morality of action and what supposed to do. Beverly was like, "Oh my God, what's going on?" And you were like, "Okay, well now is a good time to like, what should you think you should swing your sword at his head, or maybe not?" Or you're sort of off to the side coaching Beverly on what best to do. But eventually Zarvolk found himself freed, and you continued your adventures. To which eventually Zarvolk and apparently Jorman alone heard a woman's voice in his head begging for help, and guided him and the party through the many twisting caverns of the Crystal Fen caverns. And you found a mine that was foretold in the book of the Von Ethro Journal, and began to descend. You began to look for this woman who needed help and found that the mine was inhabited by a small clan of kobolds. Communications began between Glint and the kobolds started asking for ridiculous things for passage, to which was eventually decided that Karzi should challenge, or anyway, Karzi made a suggestion, and the party thought it was a great idea, that Karzi challenge their sorcerer to a magical duel, and claim chieftainship of the kobolds, to which Karzi definitely won, being a level 7 adventurer versus a tiny sorcerer kobold from a mine. And he told all the kobolds to fuck off, and they did. You all made your way to the bottom and found that the source of the voice was a telepathic impression made by none other than a powerful telepathic aberrant entity known as an aboleth. It is a seafaring entity that promised to grant you knowledge of what lies ahead in the past and possibly the future if you would just save the aboleth, as it was dying of uh, 5 levels of exhaustion, just asked to be pulled to the open lake, underwater lake on the other side of the mine. The party debated for some time, but eventually it was decided to help the aboleth. And as you did, you were all given a magnificent impression, a powerful psionic vision. All of you as a group, all at once, viewed many things. You viewed things that were almost incomprehensible architecture, like that which was described by Tosh in the Von Ethro journals. A city ahead, broken caverns, aboleth, the city of Amon being built up from nothing into the powerful city that it is, and then falling into the sea. And that is what you generally got from your impression. It was a chaotic vision of near incomprehensible sights and accelerated time of both the past, the present, and the future. With that, you guys tried to determine what you had saw. Everybody certainly shaken by the vision. And you all managed to get a long rest down at the bottom of the mine. And the next day, you would all proceed to continue your journeys. It is worth noting that, though she has not shared it with the party, as Jorman Tosh shared a little bit of his research notes and such with Yvain, Yvain looked over his shoulder to realize all of his notes, including the Von Ethro journal, were all wrote in the deep speech script. And that is where we left things off. So, Jorman Tosh hopped to his feet, and he said, all right, so if everyone's ready, let's continue our journey. I believe this tunnel is what is marked down in the journal. I am fairly confident this, but I will let you know at what point that I believe the journal loses its integrity for navigational purposes, as this is around the time that the great explorer began to sort of lose her wits. So we shall continue forward, but I will let you know when she becomes an unreliable narrator for our journey.
By all means.
Very well. Indeed. All right, as you like, Mr. Zarbalk. And you, Zarbalk, could once again begin leading, and he'll begin to reiterate with great detail knowledge from the Von Ethro journal. And say, so yes, last thing I want to know of extreme importance. The mine has not been fully tapped. There are many veins of glowing blue crystals called azimite, which is a very, very valuable material that is often used on the black market, and in long histories past was a powerful hallucinogen. Glint Grimhelm was able to understand that azimite is only created when rock, stone, mineral is exposed to millennia of psionic energy. So with that said, it is an incredibly rare and difficult and dangerous to mine material, which gives it its exceptional value. So this mine is full of it, and you can proceed with your journey. A little sample has been... Sorry, go ahead.
No, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to interrupt you. There's increasingly more as we go.
No. I think you'll see it a little bit here and there, but the mine was certainly the largest deposit of azimite as far as you've seen. Yeah.
When we finish the long rest, Gwent will rigidly cast water breathing to reapply that over the party.
Very good.
Thank you. May I roll my...
You're Roman. Yeah, go for it. How many people does water breathing cover?
I believe it's up to 10 willing creatures. Let me double check. Yep.
That should probably cover the party then.
I'm thinking it's 8. Maybe it's
10. Pulling up the spell card, it is 10 willing creatures. That does include you if you want to be.
Got it. So that should cover the whole. All the water, or all the air breathers, that is.
My omen was woe today.
Oh no.
Yeah, well, so it's, instead of help your friends, fuck your buddies, I can work either way.
Fuck your buddies. Fair enough. Absolutely. Okay. Moving right along. That's great to hear. So you guys can continue your journeys. I'll get a little marching order. I'm only going to change the map for when it becomes important and relevant. I'll travel to a different map now, actually, just to save us a little bit of time. Let's see. Yeah, we're gonna go here for our potential random encounters in the deep, dank dark. Where should I put you all down? We'll find out later. But anyway, for the time being, yeah, let's get a marching order going. So what would that be?
Me and Joe and Tosh way out in front.
Got it.
And then I could be behind them.
Sure.
Glint will bring up the middle.
Yeah, Yvain will hang by Glint.
Okay, so we got you two at the front. We're gonna have Finch right thereafter. I think Beverly would want to stick close to you, Finch.
That's right.
And then we got the middle. Who's covering the middle? Sorry, that was Yvain and Glint, I think.
And Glint, yes.
Okay.
Cool. So Ember, you're up in the rear with Carsey.
Oh,
Okay.
geez.
That's an interesting pair, I would say. Yeah, Ember, you're walking along, and Carsey's like, Ember, I have to say, I heard about the dragon meat. I am astonished that I was not invited. I'm astonished. I heard it was like a local thing, so I understand, but I must admit my jealousy. I must admit it. Perhaps we might slay another dragon. And he'll banter with you all day. He'll talk your ear off. Absolutely.
All right, so I understand that Finch wants to be close by, but I will, because of what happened earlier with the thing on my face.
Right.
Like, I'm trying to keep myself and Tosh far in front of the group.
Yeah, I'll even say Tosh is like a step behind you. Like he's he's probably beside you if you're getting information from him. And maybe your hound is a little ahead, maybe.
Yeah.
Because it is the unfortunate truth of utilizing a hound in war is that they're expendable. Fantastic.
First of all, never say that.
Okay, never mind.
It's not expendable.
Suddenly, Fen finds himself in between the party members and not in front. My apologies. I am so sorry. I will commit seppuku at once if that is what you need to get on with your lives. Incredible. So never mind. Fen is not expendable. Beverly's got a torch lit. I think Carsey would have a spell lit up in the back. So you guys are kind of evenly lit up around there. What are NPCs for? But putting a little light up. And you begin to make your way. You begin to make your way through everything. Hell to the yeah. Hell to the yeah.
Wait, I'm sorry. Where are we? I thought the next cavern was water.
So there are four. So there's four walkways. There was the one where you found the aboleth that was blocked, which is why they were stuck. There was, like you say, the river, and then there was the path that came down from the second level above, and then there's another way. There was like the fourth way, which doesn't lead into water at all, but does lead deeper into the caverns, which is where you're going.
Thank you.
Yeah, no problem. I will say, though, it does descend. It doesn't descend into water, but you certainly recognize that you're below water level as far as that cavern goes. And you certainly passed sea level long ago. So you will begin to starting to notice that the cavern is more damp as you descend. You're going to hear those dripping sounds. You're going to hear... actually, I can just do that with my my powers that be, aka music. So you're just going to hear that sort of drippy ambient sound. Dungeon crawl.
Above the table, may I ask a question while you're doing this?
Of course you can.
Thank you. Based on how you have us spaced apart, are Yvain and Glint far enough behind Jemon, Tosh, and Zarvolg that they could have a conversation that wouldn't carry to Jemon's ears?
You would be surprised if Jorman would have the ability to talk as much as he is and fully listen to another conversation at the same time.
Good,
Fair enough. Yep.
Thank you.
Do you wish to converse?
I do. I wanted to wait till you were doing things. So, Yvain is going to kind of pull up next to Glint and say, "All right. So, real talk. Did you know what the astral scrolls were? Do you know who Clermaine Astral is?"
I'm familiar, yes.
All right. So, do you know the lore behind the scrolls and reading the scrolls, going insane, etc.? Like you've heard the stories.
And that most of it was a misguided attempt to avert a war of calamitous proportions, if memory serves.
I have another take on it as far as it being misguided. I think there were 3 sides, and only one was a good one. But that's just my opinion. Nonetheless, yeah. So the notes, I caught a glimpse of them, enough to see that they were written in deep speech. I don't speak deep speech, but I can recognize it because I've carried that scroll for months. And so we know that this Von Ethros, she went insane, yeah? It's a story?
You
And the
think
astral
she may have
scrolls.
read them at some point and...
No. I'm saying there seems to be a connection between things that speak to people in deep speech and those people going insane. And I'm a little worried about Tosh, that's all. Like, look, you're an academic, you're clearly an intellectual. Maybe I'm off.
I'll take that as a compliment instead of an insult, but
Oh shit, I wasn't intending to be insulting at all.
No, I understand. Deep speech, to my understanding, not that I speak it, though I can translate it with magical preparation, is the tongue typically practiced by creatures unknown that operate on alternate laws compared to us humanoids and even most creatures assigning a natural order. That it tends to concern me if someone would go out of their way to be able to speak it, let alone, you said his notes were written in it.
The journal, Von Ethros's journal, is written in it. But he can clearly read it.
He can.
I mean, otherwise he was going through the motions, looking through the papers, eyes scrolling, fingers moving, etc. He appeared to be reading. And the thing he appeared to be reading, that he identified as the journal, that was written in deep speech. And at least you understand why I'm concerned.
Yes, and there wasn't any ritual beforehand of him casting any magic before he read it. He just cracked it open and started skimming.
All right. I did not witness him cast a spell. That does not mean that he did not, only that I did not see it. There's a spell that helps you learn languages.
There is. There's several. The first circle, the most rudimentary, is a direct, literal translated spell. It allows you to comprehend the spoken word or written text, but it's very direct in its meaning. So it wouldn't exactly help you read up on poetry. It sort of loses out on idioms and metaphors and more flowery turns of prose, but it is possible. If you ever need something translated just word for word, I'd be happy to provide services.
I would be grateful. It would have saved me a ton of time when I was learning Sylvan.
Well, tell you what, next time you're trying to pick up a new language, if you teach me a few words in Sylvan, I will translate a few words along the way for you and whatever else you're trying to pick up.
Done. Absolutely done. And apparently his notes were in deep speech, and I don't know how we missed it because neither of us can actually speak deep speech, but we did look over those notes.
That is unusual. It's possible he may have used an illusory magic to alter how it appeared if I reread it, or
That would be nifty. Nonetheless,
Well, I guess it's even more worrying that he would do that if that's what happened.
yeah, so just I don't know if anyone else pays attention to these kinds of things or generally takes me seriously when I give a warning, but I feel at least you understand what I'm warning about and you've got a head on your shoulders, so there it is.
I mean, by scale, it's probably the biggest head in the party. Now, I'll keep an eye out, at the very least. The last time I think I saw deep speech being used for just academic notes was not exactly a good time around. So it does warrant caution. I think you're quite right on that front.
Thank you.
Do you think we should ask him about it, or just keep it on the down low, or?
I absolutely think we should ask him about it. Maybe tonight?
I think that works by me. Better then than whenever we're at danger of something attacking us out of the dark.
Yeah. But like the watery worm thingy, yeah? Like it was clearly speaking telepathically.
Mm-hmm.
Like, so
The
this whole
aboleth.
yeah, that's right. I'm sorry. I forget things. But yeah, so I don't know, just this whole thing. I'm just starting to feel like I went out of my way to give up this thing so I wouldn't go nuts. And then here I am, underground, with more nutty shit.
Maybe your discovering your higher calling was perhaps a mountain hag alone on a mountainside looking at the stars, but hopefully not.
I mean, yeah, but as last resorts go, it's not bad. I mean, I am a witch.
Personally, I think I would make an excellent swamp wizard, one of those sorts that just is running around in the woods half mad, but until then I like to have a little bit of society with my magic.
Agreed. And I think with that, Eve, you'll kind of just bebop next to Glint and be happy to be there.
Hell yeah.
Okay. Okay.
If I could say something to what's his name? Joran?
Yep.
At some point while we're up ahead, scouting ahead, I'll kind of do my grumpy thing and scowl a little bit and mumble, growl.
Is there something in your throat? Sorry, I was trying to. I was just detailing Monarch's journey here, but it sounds like you've got something in your throat.
I think we're past the point now where we each have to look out for our own safety. You understand?
Not necessarily. Look out for ourselves. Is this like a is this like a mutiny situation?
No, not at all.
Oh,
to a
good.
certain degree, you and
Okay.
are kind of at the front, and
Right.
we
Right.
may find trouble. It's
Of
our
course.
duty to look ahead and to make sure that the rest are safe.
Oh, I see. Oh, I understand what you're. I understand. Yes. Let me think. I admit I didn't prep too many spells that detail in sort of divining what's ahead. I do have detect magic. I could cast that up when the moment's right. If you think you need some kind of detection power, little light cantrip perhaps. Ooh, I can make you invisible for about a minute.
That may all be very helpful, but
Right.
you're the scholar here, right?
It seems so. Seems that there's
So-
others, but yes.
Keep in mind what we may be facing.
Right. Possible underdark danger and psychic attacks. Yes, I understand.
Yeah, you sounded a little like Carsey when you said that, so
I'm trying to keep my NPC voices separate, but I mistake them sometimes. But yes, you're right. I should. I'll keep a close eye out. But good thing you're here. That's mainly your job, no? All right, onward then. Very good. All right, so around this bend, and he'll keep talking, and your troop's a little loud, I will say, for the sake of Mr. Ranger. You know,
we're
you've
super
got
loud.
yeah, super loud. You've got your scholar beside you who's going. And around this bend, I believe she found a strange amount of mushrooms. Don't eat them, though. I'm told that someone in our expedition got terrible rashes. And two back, there's Glint and Yvain, who aren't necessarily too quietly talking to each other about something. And then at the very back, you could definitely hear sort of the din of Carsey's sort of. So where did you get your interior decorating style, Ember? It's very classic tavern, very wood stools and bar stools, and everything's just basic wood, but and not uncomplimentary. So it has that sort of the classic dock tavern style. Have you ever thought of putting up some curtains? And he'll just kind of he'll do his best to not be offensive, but we'll just drill away at you, Amber, about whatever he could possibly talk about.
That's perfectly fine.
At one point he'll
Enough time
say,
behind
"So
the bar.
you're the fire guy group, yes?
Yes.
And how did you come to decide that you're the fire guy? I mean, I've been trying to figure out my style of magic, and I like what you've got going on. I could use some tips."
Well, it's a function of hereditary as much as anything.
I see.
And rather than strive against it, I leaned into it.
Ah.
And other circumstances also put relatable opportunities in my path.
I see. Very interesting. I find myself a little scattered in my spell acronym. They just kind of pop up here and there, but it's interesting.
Well,
You have a direction.
Well, it's advantageous and not all in the same breath. You probably have a greater panoply of options available to you. Mine is significantly more restricted. And if you run across something like a spirit or a specter or something like that is resistant to fire, or something like a red dragon that is completely immune, my area of specialty has very little impact.
That's fair. I never really thought of it like that. But I shall tell you what, I shall make you a deal, Amber. I have a spell I've recently acquired in my repertoire. I think I got a little excited last night about this adventure, and a couple extra spells popped up. So I have this one spell, and I'm thinking of calling it fiery vulnerableness or something. I'm working on it. I'm workshopping it. Point is, if we come across such a creature that is resistances to fire and such, I can use this to make them hurt even more towards fire. I can overcome all of that. It'll be like their elemental bane or something. Oh, that's even better. Elemental bane, yes. Maybe that's what I'll call it. So let me know if you ever want me to apply that to an enemy, and we can just have at them.
I will keep that in mind. That may be exceptionally beneficial.
Excellent. I have a couple of fire things in my repertoire. My as long as we're talking about ancestry, we brass dragons often breathe fire, so I have a little bit of that in my repertoire too.
Oh, absolutely. I am given to understand that there's even a spell that can grant a mimicry of uh, a dragon's breath.
Yes, yes, I have that one. In fact,
Oh, that's fantastic.
perhaps,
I would.
perhaps again, ancestry, as you'll say. Well, you let me know if you ever want to have the exceptional power of dragons. It's not too much of a task to utilize either. You can do some other stuff, and then you can breathe fire too, and it's good stuff. It's good stuff. We'll try the next fight, Ember. Me and you will stick together. All right?
That sounds fantastic. I look forward to it.
Yeah, and he'll keep wandering along and talking your ear off about whatever he could possibly bring up, especially fire. He'll tell you he's got firebolt, and then he breathes fire, and that's pretty much it with fire. But he likes fire. Thinks it's really cool. Moving right along. Yeah, you guys will continue to move on. Feel free to yeah, if there's everything do as you're going along there, but it seems that there's some stuff on the way. Who wants to roll a D100? Who thinks that sounds fun? All right, Zarbolg's on it.
66.
66. Ooh la la. All right, let's see what we got. Oh, I'm using physical books, haha, because I'm home. Let's see. Okay, it's kind of fun. Nice. So Zarvolg, as the light is sort of hitting, it's got a certain radius and it becomes dim. You have dark vision, yes?
Yes.
Yes. So at the edge of the dark, yeah. So you, quite a little while. So even before the light of Beverly's torch hits, they only light for like an hour at a time. So I'm gonna say at a certain point she like turns it off because she's like, I gotta save torches. I only brought 10, and I used half of them yesterday. But anyway, Zarvolg, your sight will catch it before anything else. You see some bodies up ahead, but like even like the moment your dark vision sight touches it at the very edge, it is immediately apparent, though further investigation is probably required. Just based on the sizes of things, you can see the color of bright cloaks across sundered bodies.
Are they humanoid bodies?
Maybe. You'd have to get closer to find out, but this becomes immediately apparent as you are walking through the caves and you see this ahead.
Oh. Can I, from a distance with the eagle eyes, try and get an better idea of what these bodies are?
You stop the party to do that?
Yeah.
Okay, you put your hand up, you do like the military like hold.
Right.
And you go ahead and make me a flat perception check. It's very dark in here, but you have pretty keen sight on top of it.
All right, flat?
Yep, flat.
11.
11. You look ahead. You zoom in there. Yeah, they look humanoid, but like I said, they look just ripped apart. The first thing in your path you see is like this, similar to like the mini that you see there of Joran, a sort of bluish cloak. Actually, I can get a more specific, like half a moment for this NPC's cloak, this very dead NPC's cloak. Just a moment, won't take too long. Just need half a second. Come on, where are you guys? That way. Here we go. Sort of like white and blue robes. Mostly white, smeared with like red and some dirt, and long sort of blue fabric. And there is portions of a body inside of that fabric. But something bad happened here. That much is apparent.
But there's multiple bodies, right? Not just one.
From your current distance, you see at least 2. But it's right at the edge of your ability to see.
All right. So I will
And what's your range of vision again?
90 feet.
Thank you.
So I will I guess turn around and motion for Finch since they're the closest.
All right. To make it fit all with the current terrain we're on right now on Tailspire, just in case. Come on, Carzy. There you go. Attaboy. You're kind of about here, and you're sort of like looking at a drop because you are descending deeper into the earth, and about 90 feet away, just so I'm making things as authentic as possible. It's not quite, well, we'll say it's happening up here. So you see some bodies like up on that ledge over here as you reach the side that Jorman tells you about. And you motion to Finch. Finch, you wanna head up?
Yes.
All right. Beverly will like head up too, but she'll kind of stay next to Fen.
What do you make of it?
You can't see shit, Finch. You don't know what he's talking about.
I'll like try and pretend like I'm looking at. I.
All right. So nothing.
No.
All right.
Is there something up ahead?
So I will. Yeah, I forgot that. First of all, I forgot that the dwarf can see. Secondly, I don't care that the dwarf can see. I will. Can I sneak up ahead by myself? So I'll motion to Jorman Tosh to stay.
How far ahead? Wait, how far ahead are those bodies?
90 feet.
You don't know. Yeah, 90
Oh
feet.
yeah,
There you go.
I was up. That was above the table. Sorry, because I do have dark vision. But if it's beyond 60 feet, then that makes
Yeah, he's got that crazy Gloomstalker vision, which is why you can see it.
lame. Squinting real hard.
Right.
I put
Squinting
my hands up to
angrily.
my eyes like this.
Right. All right.
He's also got cool goggles.
Right.
I will motion for everybody to stay back, and I would like to stealth ahead to the sundered bodies.
All right, make me a stealth check, sir.
Oh, that's not good. Oh, come on. At advantage, I got a 10.
A 10. Okay. Well, hopefully that'll carry you along. The last thing I'll have you do is roll me a bit of a acrobatics check or an athletics check, your choice. The terrain up ahead is getting a little spicy.
All right. I'm going to do
Spicy is the
athletics.
wrong word. Difficult to navigate.
Jeez, I can't roll. 13.
13. It's not as graceful as you like. Finch, what's your passive perception?
It's real bad. 9.
Luckily for you, Zarvolg, nobody sees you. You are stealthy enough to get around Finch, and Finch, you do not witness Zarvolg's clumsy movements through the cavern ahead, but does indeed get through the caverns, clumsy though they are. And you get right up to the site in question, and I'm going to start laying it out as we go here. Bless you. Let's see here. Actually, there was no such... Zarvolg, you see a couple of things that you, I think... Well, we'll see if you recognize it. You see a number of bodies ripped apart, to be certain. Yeah, you see about 4 bodies that were generally ripped apart, and they are laying dead. They all wear long white robes with blue sort of embroidered, I guess we can call it sort of embellishment to the robes, and they lay dead. and very, very quickly, very easily, you'll be able to determine that it's. They look like people who were trying to run away from something, and it didn't work out too well.
All right, I will. I'm ahead of everybody, right?
You certainly are. You're about 90 feet ahead of everyone.
Is there anything else notable in the immediate area?
Besides
Like
the
any signs of what they may have been trying to get away from?
maybe a survival check.
All right. All right, that's pretty good. That's a 21.
A 21, you do find some tracks. You do indeed find 2 sets of tracks from the same creature that you may or may not have seen before. Make me a nature check. Certainly not humanoid.
Oh, and that's a 20. My checks are coming back around.
All right, you as a youngling, you spent some time in mines, and you know some of the dangers, and maybe perhaps at one point, while you were in the mines or while you were working around there, you either heard or encountered. You probably heard of, otherwise you probably wouldn't be alive right now. You heard of these horrible creatures that burrowed up from the ground and just started slaughtering folks. It later came about what these creatures were. You remember these tracks because you saw them in the mines when you were a kid, and you were kind of haunted by that moment. It didn't happen to you, but it still happened to people you knew. They are large creatures, large monsters that are known as Umberhulks.
Oh,
They are capable of burrowing through solid rock, making tunnels in their wake. They have steel hard chitin. They also have certain telepathic abilities to scramble the mind of their prey and those who are foolish enough to traipse upon their territory. So they're one of the dangers that miners have to face, and you get the sense that these unfortunate souls, and I will say these are all rather thin looking individuals. They remind you, you don't think these were like great laborers or warriors. They're not wearing armor or equipped with weapons or anything like that. They're wearing like robes. They were unfortunate enough to stumble upon a couple and probably got ambushed and killed.
All right. At this point, could I make my way back to the party and relay all of that about the fact that I've identified this as like an Umberhulk kills, and I'll explain to everybody what Umberhulks are in case we haven't run across them before.
You could go back to the party. As you turn around, you see some things in the dark. You see sort of emerging, you see some humanoid-like forms, almost like steam off of like on a very, very hot summer day, like almost like coming off of off the road, those like heat waves you see, right? But there's like 4 pillars of these heat waves that are black as smoke and look vaguely and thinly humanoid, that are directly between you and your return journey.
Oh, all right.
They were not there before.
Yeah. That's fine. I will try to speak to them.
What do you say?
Hello, I don't mean to disturb you. I'm just trying to pass and make my way back to my party.
I want you to make a persuasion check.
Oh, I'm not good at those. A 9.
So what you said was, I don't mean any harm. I just want to go back to my party. Please let me pass. I mean no trouble. That's what you heard yourself say in your head. What you said out loud was, get out of my way, or you're going to learn who the fuck Zarvog the Grim is, baby, is generally kind of what...
Do you know who I am?
Say my name. Is what actually made something along those lines actually come out of your mouth. Not actually. I'm not going to put words in your mouth literally, but that's what you hear yourself say. But maybe the tone comes out a little more. I'm going back to my friends. I would appreciate it if you got out of my way.
Right.
And these sort of wisps of black smoke sort of almost like fold in on themselves and incorporate into a proper visualization of these like they physically look, a couple of the heads were laying around, they visually look like gaunt, angered, horrified, hair flared versions of the dead before you as these specters
Oh,
and,
okay.
Are going to attack. Roll me initiative. Oh yeah,
That's not good.
let's get it on.
Oh no. I can't even roll initiative tonight. 13.
Give advantage.
No, I know.
No, I know, he says. Okay, gotcha. Give me just a moment. So I will say this. Everyone hears the shriek. There is like a ghastly shriek in the direction of where Zarvog went. I assume people are going to want to roll initiative.
Yeah.
All right, let's have everybody roll initiative. Go for it.
Is it Zarvold shrieking, or is it another thing shrieking?
It's some crazy, high-pitched, ghastly screech, not a super cool, edgy hobgoblin scream, if that exists.
Got it. Do you want my precious bony children to go on my initiative, or do you want me to roll separately for them?
I think when it comes to like stuff like that, I know old rulings said that they roll initiative, but new spells say they go at the end of your turn. I like that. It keeps things simple.
It's simple. I agree.
Yeah, keep your summons and whatnot going at the end of your turn.
Mm-hmm.
I would say I think Beverly's absolutely raised torch as Zarval goes off into the dark just for safety's sake. Oh man, so many initiatives. 16. Beverly's got her own initiative, baby. She's gonna roll a truly terrific roll of 6. Where you go?
It's
Beverly?
better than Evane's roll.
Oh shit! You don't say. And last is Mr. Jorman Tosh, who will say, "Good heavens, our guide." Oh wait, I'm the guide. Still. Okay, that will be initiative 25 to 20 or above.
23.
Nice.
22.
22, very good. 20 to 15.
18.
18. Okay, that'll bring us to 15 to 10. No. Okay, how about 10 to
Sorry,
5?
That was a
13?
5 with advantage.
Sorry, 13 for me.
Okay. What'd you get there, Yvain?
5.
5.
5. That was with advantage. Just
All right.
felt like saying that.
Happy is fussing with his like baby straps, and you're like, "Come on, stop that now!" And you're a little distracted. All right, that will be us the start of initiative. There is this glint for some reason at the back. Maybe you've kind of joined up here at this point. You're like, what's going on? And you've sort of joined up there. You hear this wretched spectral scream that seems to echo not only across the walls of the interior of this cavern, but also through the very ethereal essence of the plane itself ahead. And perhaps Zarvolg might need some help. What do you do?
Fascinating. And this is quite a ways forward, correct?
Certainly further than you can see, my friend.
Okay. I'm gonna have the skeletons So I'm giving them commands to basically move forward, like don shields, draw swords.
Okay.
This sounds undead, right? You said it echoes into the ethereal. Like this is about as haunted house sound effect scream as you can get, right?
Make me on our. I guess make me either an insight or a nature check.
Okay, yeah. I'll go nature. I'll play Who's That Pokemon.
Yeah.
That's going to be a roll of an 11 plus 5 is 16.
16. You think the voice, you being a dwarf, you know the sounds like your ancestors are in your blood and they would know the sound of someone screaming in a mine if you heard it a mile away. Whatever that all meant. And you know that this echo is more than just the reverberations off the interior of a cavern. This is something more spectral, more ethereal than that. And your own studies of the undead would indicate that this is probably some undead specter.
Got it. Glenn's going to sort of reach for maybe a holy symbol, for lack of a better term, maybe hanging around his neck, very Indiana Jones like tomb scene, and he's going to cast protection from evil and good on himself.
Very good.
And I'm going to hustle forward with my 25 whole feet of movement towards the sound.
Got it. So excuse my mid thing adjusting of everything, but I just need to get my dimensions right for what I've already explained in the action. Just trying to get my things all right. All right, and you take your really, you only have 25 feet as a dwarf, huh?
Yeah, just kind of toddling along. I can't get slowed down by heavy armor, but that's because I'm not very fast to start with.
Fair enough. Okay, you make your way forward. You get to about 10 feet. You see that there is a definitive drop. You can hop down there if you want.
Yeah.
Make me an athletics or acrobatics check.
Sure.
DC 10.
Thanks to my luck stone, that's 10 on acrobatics.
That's exactly what you needed. You almost rolled your ankle, but you didn't, which is awesome. 5, 10, 15, 20. Another 25, and another 5 feet gets you there. So you have begun your little jaunt, and at this point, your dark vision is coming into play. Actually, yes, this is what does the job. At this point, you do begin to start to see the specters through the dark, because you have 60 feet of dark vision. So at this point, you can't see Zarbolg. You certainly can't see this one behind the pillar. Maybe not this one either, but you do see these two specter-like wraiths sort of looking at something almost like in a bully circle, and you're pretty appraised of the situation at this point.
All right. In that case, he is going to kind of point towards the one that he can see and direct the skeletons to attack it, if possible.
All right. We'll say the Skelly boys can make it to the ledge if you wish, like so.
That'd be wonderful, yeah.
They will kind of block the ledge at that point, but they certainly can get into like a little bit of a firing line, and they can fire their crossbows.
Yeah, I'll go with that. That works for me.
Do skeletons have dark vision?
Yes, 60 foot.
Got it. So they will be able to, let's see here. So they can all fire on. Ooh, this is very interesting combat scenario as far as visuals go.
Yeah.
So I'll tell you what.
Like give it some cover, maybe. I'm sure.
Yeah, like this guy over here in the corner, he's not getting.
Yeah, that's fine.
You can get this guy on. Nah, he's kind of screwed. We'll get him into a better position.
Yeah. I mean, hey, 3 shots, I can live with that.
Yeah, tell you what. We'll give you all 4 shots. We'll just say they like organize themselves throughout the duration of the firing. It's fine. So take 4 shots.
Okay.
We'll say this guy's the most easy to see.
Got it. Let me double check their to hit bonus. I think it's plus 4.
I'll still give him a half cover though. There's a lot going on over there.
I have a 19, an 11, and a 16.
2 will hit, or sorry, 3 will hit. 1 will miss.
All right. So that is 14 points of non-magical piercing on the first shot.
Okay, so that will be 7, as it does seem to partially fly through the enemy.
Got it. 13 on the second shot.
That'll be another 6.
And 10 on the third shot.
10 on the third shot for another 5. All right. Your firing line shoots. For the most part, the creature does sort of react to the bolts, but they do fly through ethereally and sort of disappear into the cavern somewhere. So you can mark off those bolts. Those will require some kind of investigation check to go follow.
Understood.
Okay, is there anything else?
No, I'm good for now.
Okay. That'll bring us to Amber Van Zyl. You, my friend, could have walked up as well, a little closer if you wished. What would you like to do?
Yeah, I mean, I figured the skeletons all firing their crossbows and stuff means that there's something down there, but
Probably.
I've got no ability to see what it is. So I'm just gonna squirm my way kind of up in front of Beverly for half a second.
Sure thing.
Then out somewhere in the direction that the skeletons are pointing, down on the ground, I just want to drop a bonfire.
All right.
60 feet out or whatever distance I can get.
Got it.
Mostly so that
Yeah.
there's a light source that's hanging out down there.
Absolutely. About 60 feet in this direction. So we'll say you put it right there, somewhere out there. And a light source is created. Let me make it a little smaller. That's a humongous bonfire. There we go. So Zarbalg, you're like, come on, mother. And then suddenly a huge burst of bonfire flame shoots up behind these creatures. Let's see, and probably adds to their spookiness as the flame sort of silhouettes their horrific forms. You're like, ah! But you guys have a pretty decent beat on what's going on over there at this point. My non-dark vision and too far away friends.
Yeah, and just get the hell out of the way.
All right, you just wander a little out of the way, no problem. Okay, fantastic. That will bring us to Finch Endegard, the great hero of Amon, the chosen of Bahamut. What are you going to do? How are you going to save the day?
I am going to start to make my way forward.
All right. Give me an athletics or acrobatics check to jump down where Glint is to start making physical progress in that direction.
I am going to make that an athletics check, and that is going to be 13 plus 5, so 18.
DC 10, you're good. You're totally good. You land, so Glint, you kind of land. You're like, oh shit, and Finch lands like Iron
Superhero
Man landing in the Middle East, kicks ass. So that is going to be half movement to go through the skeleton, and then 10 feet to jump down. You want to go another 10 feet forward? You can get to about here if you wish.
Mm-hmm. And then I think at that point I'm just going to dash.
All right, dash. If you want to jump to that high ledge, it would be half movement to climb up there, which would cost you the rest of your speed to get to the top, but allow you to make an acrobatics check to try and pull some Prince of Persia shit.
Okay, let's see. That's a nat 20, baby.
Oh! So I think I've just realized that it might be like, I guess it's I give you guys a DC to land when you're falling. Maybe there's a DC to get up that's equivalent. But yeah, you boom, and then you run over there and you just jump and put your foot into the wall and you kick off of it so hard your hand just grabs the top with the shield and you pull yourself up over the wall. So rather than costing you the rest of your entire movement, I'll say that you get to the top and you've got enough movement to. That was a pretty decent roll. I'll get you in melee.
Okay, yep, and I'll do that. And then I believe that's my turn economy because I did all that. Yes.
Incredible. You just jump yourself up there. You slam your foot in the wall. You get over the top and you get up and back up Zarval. Fantastic. That'll bring us indeed to the Spectale's turn. This one turns around to you, Finch, being surprised by your approach. Sort of And as you look at it, it looks like a angry, incredibly gaunt, fierce ghost of like some college kid, basically. Some like lanky college kid in a cool robe, and he is going to try and drain the life out of you. But with a measly 13, you laugh in the face of danger. The rest of them, though, will attack you, Zarvog.
Please tell me that's the exact noise they're making.
It is the exact sounds they're making. They're not used to being scary undead yet. They're trying it out. They literally are trying it out. They don't know. First guy is going to attack. Straight roll. That's going to miss with an 8.
Yep.
Clearly amateurs at this. They're doing their best, but they're new to being dead. And the other ones are going to take...
Oh God, they're method actors. It's method acting gone wrong.
They're like...
The last horrible fate of an improv.
They're like, to die!
I'm being attacked by the ghosts of a fine arts company.
This is oh God, these are theater kids. Oh no. That's going to be 16
I
to hit.
resemble that remark.
I do as well. I do as well.
16 meets.
16 meets, it beats it. All right, I need to make a con save as he begins to drink the life from you.
Oh no, not my life.
Not my life.
That's an 11.
What'd you get?
11.
11 will save. You are going to take 10 points of necrotic damage and nothing else.
Okay.
The other guy's going to attack from a flanking position. Don't fall, don't fall. Oh, it fell. That is going to be a natural 19 for a 13. Or sorry, 23. That was
subtraction.
Yeah, okay, maybe another con save.
Yep. Oh, that's a 10.
That will save. That will save regardless. You'll take only 9 necrotic damage and nothing else.
All right, thank you.
As they sort of come up to you and very Death Eater and Harry Potter sort of come up to you and begin to almost like suck the very life force out of you. You feel your body withering under their presence, which will bring us to Karzadon. Sunscale goes, ha ha! It is time to show them what I'm made of. I could only see in the dark. Oh, good, there's a fire.
He's gonna burn me.
Well, yeah, he's definitely narrating his whole turn.
Well, and he's gonna burn me too, right?
Of course not. He's a great hero. He would never do such a thing. 15. And he will jump up on the ledge next to the skeletons and strike a pose, for sure. And he'll like flourish his mantle out of the way. It says, "Fear not, Zavog! I'm here to help!" And he is going to he's gonna say, "It's a little bit of a tricky shot. Hold still." And he goes, "Oh, Finch is there, damn it! Oh, it is a could you remove that pillar?" No, there's not enough time. He is going to I love AoE, but you're in the way. Let's see. What does he got? He goes, "Oh, right! I told you I'd do this." And he's gonna actually just back off from the front line. He's gonna back up to you, Ember. He'll say, "All right, Ember, you've got this. The power of a dragon is yours." And he is going to magic is gonna flow up his arm, and he's gonna touch your shoulder, and he is going to cast Dragon's Breath on you. Yeah, and it's a saving throw, so he's going to heighten that spell. So anytime you use this, your enemy will have disadvantage on the saving throw. And as he does this, 3 glyphs ignite across his body. And he is used. Points he's just used. Okay, fantastic. That he goes, and that was only a bonus action. I have a full action left in my repertoire. And he is going to cast Firebolt. He can't see anybody. He goes, "This is truly a pickle. And he is going to just dash. He goes, "Don't worry, Finch! I'll help you!" He's going to make an athletics check. So he makes the sound and then pulls off the coolest front flip you've ever seen in your life. Like natural 20, pure luck of the dice. He does a super cool front flip, like 3, and he like lands on the back of his tail and almost like snake glides onto his feet. And all of you can't help but be like, "Oh shit!" Like there's a moment of like impressed with his athletic skill. And none of you know that he fully tripped and probably was just as likely to break his skull open, but he does. And then he goes, "Right!" And he's going to run forward now. "Fear not! I'm coming!" And that will be his turn. Zarvog, you stand in opposition to 3 teenagers. What do you do?
Oh, and
Dead teenagers.
Everybody's attacked here, right?
Oh, yeah.
All right.
We did not appreciate your comment.
Yeah, no, I heard
This
that.
is a safe space.
Yeah, I got it.
You're hurting my feelings.
I know, yeah.
The campus needs, they need like a safe space on campus. We're gonna sign a petition.
Fair. All right. I guess we're going, if everybody wants to be in melee, let's do some Gambler's Blade.
Hell yeah. Pull out the Gambler's Blade. What did you gamble on your blade this morning?
3. Every day
3. Everything 3, my man. I love it. All right. Go for it. Everything 3, he says.
21 to hit. Oh.
Hell yeah.
Wait. I don't remember. Oh, I do get advantage on that. Hold on. I just don't get my 3rd attack, but I still get advantage. So I got a crit to hit.
Hey, go for it. Who are you aiming for? Righty, center, or lefty?
Let's go lefty.
All right, lefty's getting it.
Lefty loosey, ready, tighty. All right. Let's see. Oh, that's not great. All right. So that's 18 damage.
18 damage. Your blade slices true as if they were made of solid matter, and this is a particularly hurt, ghostly teenager now as you slash into him, and he goes, "There should be more regulations against magical weapons."
You're getting another one, Dylan.
Yes. "Don't call me by my dead name." It's funny because he's dead, right? Anyway, yeah, go for it.
That's totally not cool, man.
And the other ones go, "I can't believe you would do that to him."
That was an 11.
11 will not hit, I'm afraid. Will not hit.
Right. Where's Fen?
Would you have brought Fen with you?
No.
No. Okay, he's like,
I mean, I didn't roll stealth for him, so.
Yeah, exactly. So we'll say Fen's back here. Beverly's like, "Fen, stop. I'm trying. No, it's a battle." And Fen's like, he's like trying to give her kisses. She's like, "Fen, no, stop. This is important. This is like my first big battle." So Fen's over there just kind of being a bit of a lapdog.
Let's dash him forward.
Okay, you whistle. Ben goes, and he goes charging off. So how much feet? He's got 40 feet. That's
He's got 40
80 feet.
Yeah.
All right, he goes charging through. Make me an athletics or acrobatics check for Fen.
Oh, yeah. Oh, 22.
Wow.
Then jumps through the air, and he lands on his feet. There's not so much flourish with Fen, but he executes his jump and land perfectly and keeps running. So that's 20 feet. Another 40 feet, or another 20 feet gets up to here. Carsey's like, "Whoo!" As he goes running by. Make me an athletics or acrobatics check to pull the what is it? Like German Shepherd run up the side of the wall.
Oh,
I've seen
yeah,
on
yeah.
Facebook.
We've been working on that.
Hell yeah.
Oh, another 22.
Oh, damn. Fen takes that wall no problem. He does a little hop at the top and lands on his feet at 10 feet, losing. I'll give him an extra 5 feet of movement because that is a pretty big movement. But he will negate most of that, and he'll land at the top and keep going. and he'll run in there because he's got plenty of speed to spare. Where's he going? Where do you want him to land at the end of this movement?
Where's he at? About there?
He can pretty much land anywhere in this general space
Let's
here.
put him, right. I guess right in that catty corner space between the two ghosts.
Got it. Fantastic. He
up one if he can, up forward one if he can get it.
Like that?
The other direction. Yep.
Like that? Yep. He can get there, no problem.
All right.
And as soon as you whistle, Fenn's padding and growling through the cavern, comes loud within a couple of seconds, and your loyal companion's at your side.
Right. All right. But he used his action to dash, so we're all set there. So I'm good.
Fantastic. That brings us to Jorman Tosh, who goes, "Uh-oh! Have you all got this handled? I should probably help. Let's think. What would be helpful right now? Yeah, not a fireball. I know. Maybe perhaps something like this. He's going to Misty Step. Oh, he's a little far away. He's not so cool and athletic that he would jump up there, but he will try and land like... no, he'll go... Okay, I take it back. He's going to go right to the edge. So 5, 10, and then... Oh, God, I picked up a skeleton. And then he's going to try and Misty Step there so he can hit that corner. Yeah! Misty Step to that corner, so that's 5, 10. He goes, oh, I'm really close to the battle. Oh, no. And that's going to be... He's going to go there. And he's going to go, okay, shit. What would be good? I know... Oh, God, you're so far away. Let's see. And he is going to... yeah, he's going to get behind you, Finch, and be like, greater invisibility. And he is going to cast greater invisibility on you and then back out of the way. He's going to push himself up in the corner like this. Like, okay, good. Go, you do the thing. Do the thing. And you will have invisibility for 1 minute, and that will not go away unless concentration's broken. No matter what. All right, that's Jorman Tosh. Bring us to Beverly. And she'll go, okay. Wow, that's a lot of distance. You guys are really fast. Okay. I've only got a sword. Okay, let's try this. And she's going to go 5, 10 around the skelly space. She makes her athletics check. She lands beside you, Glint. Gives you a smile of, like, trying to be confident of, like, you know, we're on the same team. And then she's going to run ahead another 10 feet. And then she's going to dash and hope she doesn't embarrass herself, mostly. She does not embarrass herself and instead goes up the side of the wall, manages to hit that 10-foot climb. She pulls herself up, and she will just kind of step out of the way. She'll throw her torch to the side and bare her shield, and that will be Beverly's turn. Yvain, Happy is finally harnessed up properly. What do you want to do?
Yeah, so I normally try to keep Happy like above the table because I use him to heal, so I don't keep him in the harness. Maybe I was unharnessing him.
Maybe you were
unharnessing him.
Just fun.
No, okay. No, yeah. I love it. I was unharnessing him,
cool.
So now he's on the floor and we've got our shit together. Okay, where is Beverly? I'm sorry, where is Beverly?
It's okay. Beverly just got to the other side of this, like, underdark chasm here, so she's a couple feet behind Finch on the platform.
All right, yeah, I'm going to try to advance towards her. I have a Misty Step that I would like to use in the process of my movement to go over the chasm, if I may.
All right, you step 5 feet up onto the lip of the drop, and then you Misty Step across the way, and you are in 5 feet of Beverly, and standing right on the top of that little pillar people were using to get up.
All right. I don't know how this works in the action economy.
Sure.
What I want to do is hand her the moon spear and say, your sword can't hit these things, they're cursed. Use this.
Okay. She, like, pulls out her sword. She's like, all right, I could do this. And then suddenly, like, you're throwing a spear in her hand. And she's like, oh, okay, great. And she will figure that out on her turn, but she's got it, like, in her arm.
So I don't know if that was my action.
No, we're going to call that your free action. So, you're good.
Thank you.
Yep. You had it in your hand, so you just basically did this. So I'm not going to penalize you too hard for that.
Thank you. I'm worried about her.
That's fair. She's got a couple hit points.
Oh God! All right. Okay. How far away are they? Shit. How far away are the specters?
She's to be clear, she has more than 2. I'm gonna rewrite that just to be clear. Okay. How far are the specters from you? Let's find out. And you still got 25 feet of movement, by the way. The nearest one, the one that Finch is engaged with, is 15. The closest one engaged with Zarvolg is 25.
All right, yeah. So I am not going to go up there because that's not what I do, Ryan.
That's
ever.
Fair. That's fair.
What I am going to do is take my scroll and underground. I'm going to call on the Moonweaver's blessings.
Okay, you take out the scroll.
Not this round because that takes a bonus action. I am sorry.
No problem.
I'm not going to do that either. Am I 30 feet away from one of them?
Are you 30 feet away from them as a whole? Like all of them?
This is any single one of them. I'm within 30 feet of one of them.
Got it. Yeah, the first.
I'm trying to tell if I can hit something.
Yeah. The furthest one is 30 feet. You got your choice.
Oh, all right. So I'm going to hit it. Oh, come on. I believe I'm going to hit it with my thorn whip. I'm just checking on things and they're being stupid. Yep, 30 feet.
30 feet. Okay, so, go for it.
All right. Didn't like the way the other one rolled, so I'm gonna roll this one instead. That's a nat 20.
Oh wow.
Oh, I cantrip! Damn it!
So what did you get? Sorry?
It was a nat 20.
Fucking right. All right, roll me some damage. Roll me some big damage. Sorry, I'm back in Canada and I'm really feeling it. Really feel like handling everything with fuck lately, and I'm trying to control it. But I can't. So how much damage did you do?
16.
Ooh, what kind of damage?
It's with my thorn whip, so it's magical.
That's right. So that's like slashing. So 16 slashing damage. Very good. It's magical, so that will land just fine. And I believe he's pulled 10 feet towards you, yes?
Yeah. So I feel like I had like this one sort of poison ivy meets Catwoman moment next to Beverly where I put a spear in her hand and then
you're like, her. Take this, kid. You're gonna need it because I don't. And you like across the battlefield like a perfect whip. Like what? We're gonna do this like proper like poison ivy style. Like it doesn't like magically come out of your sleeve. Like fuck that. You bring your hand back to the wall and like a root, like an inert like underground fungal root, just like comes to life at your will and sprouts thorns in every direction. And you shoot your hand forward and it fires past you like it's an extension of your own will, and it wraps around the specter. And as you rip it back, your arm back, it does so in tandem and just rips itself off of the specter and tears at its undead spectral flesh as it returns back to the wall and it's forced back 10 feet towards Finch.
Excellent.
Yeah.
And that.
I finally figured out the flavor for vine. I finally figured it out. Incredible. Well done, Lynn. That will bring us to Lint Grimhelm and Co.
Okay. So I'm a little guy. How close can I get to those specters?
You're a little guy with a big beard, okay?
That's true.
How close can you get yourself? Let's take a look. Yvain is a little bit standing on the platform that people were using to jump up now. So it's hard to get up there, admittedly. Do you have a Misty Step, perchance? That would be very helpful.
I do, in fact. And
I would
was
say
hoping...
the only way... Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, good.
I was just going to say, I think the only way at this point you're getting up there is if you got a Misty Step on hand at this point.
I do have one on hand.
All right,
so I'll go
fantastic.
ahead and pop it.
All right, Misty Step will put you right in there, right in the pocket. There will be a specter right there who's turning to look angrily at Yvain. As you appear, it looks like it's looking angrily at you. But you'll appear right there, sir.
Okay. Can I circle around that specter without going through the bonfire?
Don't think so, my friend. I don't think so.
That's all right. All right. Let me double check.
That's all right.
A specter, huh? I'm going to, well, one, kind of mark it as the target for my bony boys, but I guess two, I'm going to try and give it a good shocking grasp and see if I can hit it with that.
Shocking grasp. Love it. Go for it. Make me an attack roll.
All right. So that's a 5 on the die, and I think I have +3, +4, +1, so +8. So that'll be a 13.
A 13 will hit. Go ahead and roll damage.
Oh yeah. That is 7 whole points of lightning damage.
So here's the deal. I'm going to give you those 7 points of damage to this fellow over here, and it will be reduced to 3 because this guy's very dead. I haven't looked at their hit points in a minute, and this guy was killed by that thorn whip that just like ripped him in half. So he's gonzo. So we can say that you stepped up here if you wished to, and have zapped him if you want.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, cool. Stepped up there, zapped him. No reaction, so you can fall back if you want.
I'll stay where I'm at for now, actually.
Okay. All right. Is there anything else?
Just having my skeletons see if they can get into position and keep on shooting things.
Right. They're a little pooched at the moment. They can't quite see anything. But you would say get into position and attack. So I think they're going to try and follow suit and see if they can't find an angle.
Alrighty.
So I want you to roll me three athletics or four. Roll me 4 athletics or 4 acrobatics checks, whichever would be best for Skellies to jump down and go help.
That's a 16, a 14, a 4, and a 13.
Okay, so these 2 guys get down with no issue. So that's a 10-foot jump. He's fine. He's going to run forward the remainder 20 feet. We're going to have this guy do the same thing. This guy jumps down and falls over, and then he gets back up, and he's going to run another 5 feet. And then this one's going to stick the landing as well, and he's going to run over and join his buddies, the cool kids who actually made the jump. Let's see. What do we got now? This is a little better. These 3 guys will get a fairly, I'll call it a clean shot.
Excellent.
I'll tell you what. One of them gets a clean shot, and I'm being generous on that. The other 2 will say happy because you got Fen and the in the way.
Makes sense to me.
Cool.
17, a 19, and an 11.
A 17, a 19, and 11. The 2 of them will hit.
Alrighty.
And I'll say this last guy just dash actions into plain view.
Got it. That is 7 and then 9 on the respective shots.
Got it. So that's going to be 3, and then 9 will be reduced to 4 damage. Again, sails through. One will be easily recoverable. The 2 that hit will be more difficult to find. So that's another. So we're at about 6 bolts that are kind of somewhere in the cavern.
Got it.
Okay. Fantastic. The last guy dashed in. Is there anything else?
Nope. That'll be my turn.
That'll be your turn. Fantastic. All right, Mr. Van Zyl, you can feel this burning in your belly. This dragon breath is upon you. What do you do? You're muted.
Well, now that everybody's out of the way, I think I'll make my way down into the basement.
Fair enough. 10 feet gets you there. If you want to jump down, that's an athletics or acrobatics DC 10.
14 for acrobatics.
You land deft as a cat. So you got another 10 feet. Is there a particular direction you'd like to take that 10 feet?
I just gonna go straight away.
Like so?
Yeah.
Fair enough.
I don't think that I've got angles on anything
Yeah, that's tough.
visible.
That's tough. Yeah, nothing too visible right now.
In that case,
if you wanted to like hit an angle like this, you've got a little bit of an angle on this guy over here if you want.
Actually, I'll dash.
All right, dash.
We'll go climbing.
Are you gonna go up climbing? Fantastic. Unfortunately, because we've got Yvain standing at the top, it's gonna be a little hard to do what everybody else did, which was basically like this: run up the side of the wall and just clamber up in one movement. So that will be a climb to get up there. So you dashed up there. That was 10 feet. I'll be a little generous and say that you get to here at the end of your move.
Okay.
With the dash. Cool. Is there a bonus action? Oh, you've got your. Well, there's some people in the way, but you do have it. You do have the dragon breath if you want it.
Well, it's an action. It's an action to breathe. So no, this was just all preparatory. I'm good.
Understood. Bonus beyond your bonus uses an action to exhale the energy. Okay, understood. That will bring us to Finch and a guard. Finch, you are completely invisible. What do you do?
I want to hit shit.
Hell yeah.
Oh, hell yeah.
Oh, hell yeah.
Let's see here. So I'm just going to try and smack the ghosty right in front of me.
Fair enough.
Okay. And that's going to be a 15 plus 6, 21 to hit.
A 21 to hit. I think that'll do the job.
Okay. And I am going to smite.
All right. He goes, but wait, I'm just a teenage dirtbag. Leave me alone. And he just starts like whining at you. And
oh my god. Let's see here. So that is going to be 8 plus 3. And then you said they're undead, aren't they?
These are they're pretty undead.
Okay. So that is going to be that's 3 that's 6. That's 26 points of bludgeoning damage.
And radiant damage, I assume?
Oh, yes.
Yeah, that'll all go through just fine. This guy starts to squeal out some like emo shit from My Chemical, and you just go, fuck that, and you just bash into him, and he explodes as his undead form is destroyed by your radiant power.
Love it.
And you're also at advantage for all these attacks because you're invisible.
And then I'm going to use my movement to start to go towards the ones that are attacking Czar. Got
it. You move over there. All you can hear is as like chitin plate bounces off of itself, and then suddenly blazes of light. Finch, what do you want to do?
And I'm going to attack the one that's just right in front of me.
Go for it.
Let's see here. 6. That's a 12 plus 6, 18.
You hit. Go ahead and roll damage.
And I'm going to smite on that one too, of course.
All right, then. You just go have a smite for yourself.
All right, so that is going to be 6, 7, 8, 9. So that's 9 bludgeoning, and then the radiant damage on that is...
It's dead. As Finch comes
it's already dead.
It's dead. As Finch comes in and defines, as they're putting together Oxford Dictionary, and they're writing down overkill. They just write Finch beside. As it had 4 hit points left, Finch comes over and just smashes this guy into another plane. He gets no afterlife. He's just destroyed into nothing. Well done. Is there anything else, Finch?
I think that's it.
Incredible. That'll bring us to the ghosts. Or ghost. Singular. And this ghost is angry because it's dead. It is so angry and it doesn't know why. It goes, I'm just dealing with a lot right now, okay? What my back? And he's going to try and life drain you, Zarvolg. You understand me? That's going to be 22 to hit.
Oh, yeah.
Give me a con save.
Yep. 17.
17. That will certainly save. You are going to take 12 points of necrotic damage. And that is it. And I think it's going to just sort of move over atop this corpse. And I think especially for like you two right at the front, Finch and Zarvolg, the appearance between the face, like despite its like undead, ghastly, stricken, eyeless form, it is very clearly the face of the woman who lays dead at its feet in this moment. Very, very clearly.
Yeah, well, too late for all that now, isn't it?
Isn't it, Governor? Karzi runs over here, goes, good angle. Fine work, gentlemen. Now get out of my way. You heard me. Off you go. And he is going to probably literally just like shove his way to the front and be like, ha-ha! Yeah, Finch and Zarvolg, you're at the front, like, are like, you died, and that's, or like, and maybe we can come to terms. He's going, yeah, maybe I don't have to be. And then Zarvolg or Karzi's going to fire off something and end that moment. What are we doing there, big guy? What are we doing there? He gets a little. He's new to the adventuring life, you know. You know what he's gonna. This is actually funny. Yeah, let's do it because it's funny. Suddenly, you hear, and he's going to shoot off a blast of fire breath that's probably going to take out your eyebrows, Zarvolg.
Yeah, of course,
it doesn't quite hit you, but near enough. And the creature makes a save, but will still take 6 points of fire damage. And then he kind of usually have to do that. And that will probably be his turn. Isn't have many bonus actions, which will bring us around to you, Zarvolg, as you stand before this ghost. What do you do?
Yeah, I'm just gonna start swinging.
All right, fantastic.
13 to hit.
13 will hit. Roll damage.
5 damage.
5 damage. That will do the job as you have a magic weapon. Keep in mind to add your bonus +3 because I don't believe it takes into that.
Oh, that's
account.
right. I'm sorry. 8 damage. You're right. I forgot to add that. Yeah, 8 damage.
No problem. Yeah, to both your attack roll and your damage.
Right.
Okay,
right.
he's still up. It's barely corporeal. It's more like a mass of ghostly energy at this point. It's barely holding on to its form.
All right, 22 to hit.
And that with that 1 hit point left, how would you like to do this?
Yeah, it's just the blade, and this thing's pretty incorporeal, so I'm just swinging through it like a probably. Oh, you know what? No, I was going to do it sloppily, but I've been practicing my forms, so I would like to slice through it very neatly.
Fair enough. You take this first slash. As it like drains your life, this one's a little bit, maybe the first one's a little more like old Zarvolg, a little more wild, as you sort of want to just try and get it away from you, and you sort of slash it, sort of almost like lazily, like underhand across the chest, and sort of loses its form, and you're like go to just do this like wild finish off, but then you're like, your body almost naturally comes into the forms you were taught by Cleve, and you do that sort of samurai.
Yeah, cool
slash.
samurai ending. Yeah.
Cool samurai. Who's that? And you slash it. And go. And it diminishes into an ectoplasmic gas that fades into the Ethereum. And with that, the ghosts are slain. the day is saved, or Zarvolk is saved anyway, by himself, no less. And with that, the battle is concluded, friends.
All right. Do these bodies have anything on them after all that?
Go ahead and make me, or I don't need you to make me a check. You can just go looking through the bodies. Yeah, there's definitely stuff. Give me just a moment while I figure that out.
That mini looks like it has a cool staff. That's fun.
Yeah, it's crazy. They're all equipped with very rare weapons. It's really cool. No, they were not. They were not. Give me just a
Oddly,
moment.
one of them has a vestige.
A vestige of it just found it. It's crazy. You wouldn't believe it. So the first thing is that they're all wearing robes. All of their robes are torn and ripped up. They're all the same robes, though. They're clearly from some similar league or faction or something.
Can I identify it?
You can add them if you want, but they're torn and bloodied. Like
No,
they're
can
not.
Can I identify what the faction is?
Got it. Make me a history check, and I'll give you advantage.
Okay. Well, that was not good. No, I got an 11 at advantage.
You will get this. You saw Yvain come back to the Rousing Spark more than a couple times with paraphernalia from a certain place. You get the sense that these are Alabaster Lyceum students.
Oh, interesting. All right.
Yeah. So you'll find on their body they have normal arcane foci. I'm just gonna say like one of each type. There's like a staff, a wand, an orb, and a crystal. I think it is. I think those are the 4 arcane foci.
What organization was Joman Tosh from again?
He's from the Arcane Panasonic. It's
Got it.
quite
Okay.
possible that he studied at the Lyceum, as they're not respective entities, but he is from the Arcane Panasonic. So as for material wealth, you're gonna find on their person, I'm gonna say you find about between all of them 70 gold. College kids have to be rich if you want to get to the university, Jesus. So you find that much. They've all got a different arcane focus. Their robes are torn and ripped and sundered. They have some trinkets on them too. Like one has a brooch, a fairly petty brooch. One has an empty vial. One has like a little sampling kit of some kind. Maybe like part of a herbalism kit, but not the full set. Maybe lost a piece of it. The last one has some dead spiders in a pouch. They look to all be like sort of unique, different varieties of spiders.
Ew.
And that's kind of what they had on them.
And they're from the wizard. Well, not necessarily the wizard, but the arcanist institution. Yeah,
they're from the
Lyceum.
Alabama. Yeah, they're from the Lyceum. Though the Lyceum isn't necessarily like it doesn't only teach Arcana, it's what they specialize in. So, yeah.
Do any of them have a spell book on their person?
I would say, yeah. I think the answer is yes. All 4 of them do, in fact, but basic spells like cantrips. They've got a mostly complete repertoire of cantrips, which is very basic for a wizard. For the Tasha rules, and I would say they also have like shield, thunderwave, detect magic, and like maybe like chromatic orb.
You know, I don't know 2 of those spells, so Glint will grab a couple of those books.
There you go. Spell books sell for quite a bit of change, my friend. So you could definitely take those if you want to sell them. These are very basically filled books, so I wouldn't give them too much of an extra price on them. They're only filled with 1st level spells, but I know an empty spell book, I believe, costs. Let's take a look here. an empty spell book costs 50 gold. I will say each of these books go for like 65 gold because they're filled. They're not only spell books; they're almost like a wizard's primer almost.
Mm-hmm.
So mark that down. Spell books times 4, 6 gold pieces a piece, and then you can mark down those the spells I just mentioned.
Got it. Okay.
Cool. Okay.
Zarvo kind of growls back at the group. Let's not forget these young people were killed by Umberhulks.
Right. Are there any signs of them still in the area? Are these fresh?
Can I check?
You would know that. Yeah, you would know that. These are certainly more than a day old. This happened a while ago. Like the blood on these robes are dried. This happened quite a while ago.
It wasn't within the past few hours. This has been a little time past.
I wonder what brought them down here.
You don't think they were looking for the same thing we are?
Well, I mean, they're quite deep in to be looking for something else, don't you think? Unless they're trying to find some other ancient ruin.
Yvain, if you want to try and answer the question, you can roll me a history check because you spent a lot of time at the Lyceum, so maybe you've heard something about this.
I was about to ask that because I feel like
you spent a lot
above
of time
the table. I actually feel like I have.
Yeah, you definitely have.
All right. So you said it was history.
History.
That is the dirty 20.
Dirty 20. A lot of Lyceum students do like to delve the Crystal Fen caverns. Not that deep, and it's not even like for study really. This is more one of those like stupid college things that college people do. It's like a
hazing.
Maybe not. Like I think the Lyceum's a little too well recognized, shall we say, or wealthy or posh, or whatever the word is, for like hazing stuff. Like it's not that kind of place. This is like Harvard, right? But certainly it's a popular thing for certain university students at the Lyceum to go into the Crystal Fen caverns and maybe go fight a swarm of bats here and there, just like see if they can't discover something that nobody's seen before. And maybe on occasion a couple of those idiots get lost, and more than certainly those idiots get killed. So you would know that that's a thing around the Lyceum.
Yeah, I'll absolutely convey that to the rest of the group.
So you think they may have gotten turned around and ended up deeper than they intended?
It's entirely possible.
Terrible waste, isn't it?
Yeah.
Play stupid games, win stupid prizes.
At risk of seeming exceptionally naive, do you have a way to ask them their names so we can at least let their families know, Clint?
Personally, I do not.
I do.
Yvain does have the skull.
Oh.
I can't ask each one then. I can talk to one. There's a cost for it, you understand, yeah? So,
well, I
do we want to know their names or how did they die? And if we know how, I mean,
the how they died, I think Zarbog, pretty much outlined that for us.
Right.
But who they are, so we can let their next of kin know, so they're not, just out there.
Absolutely.
And if maybe we can, if they're mostly desiccated or skeletonized, then maybe we take the head back or something, so the family has something to place in an ossuary or something like that.
All right, that's fair. Um, yeah, sure. So I'll. There's probably not one that looks more whole than the others. I suppose I should just sort of find a head or a piece that looks like I can talk to it.
They're all ripped up in various amounts. I would say the one that is most immediately in front of Zarvolg is it's the one that has like it's probably missing its legs, so everything else is intact. But then the other ones are like torn from nape to hip, or it's pretty brutal. What happened? One's like the clear chest has been crushed to such extent that they've been cut in half. And so yeah, I would say the one directly in front of Zarvolg, the most immediate one, is the most intact. And if you want to go over there and produce the skull and see what happens, try it out for the first time.
I do, actually. So you'll see Yvain, she walks up to the skull and she walks up to the body and she will kneel down and carefully open this pouch that she's been carrying. She'll pull out the skull, and we've talked about it, she's taken very, very good care of it and polished it and detailed it just so. And there's no place that she can put it, so she's just going to kind of sit down like on her knees, like you often see in martial arts kinds of studios, something she would have picked up at the monastery, with Varys on her lap, and she's going to say, Varys, I need to talk to him. Would you ask him what their names are? What were their names?
Just for context for the party, or as a reminder to many of them, you see the skull, and etched into the very bone there is seemingly like endless arcane runes. The actual eye sockets are encrusted with red gemstones. And as you say this, Yvain, you put this tension out there, the jaw sort of, which would seem like pretty firmly, like almost like glued in place, like it wasn't like hinging or anything. In this moment, it like opens, like unlocks the jaw, and then this black, this greenish black smoke pours out of its mouth like black ice and sort of seeps across the ground towards this corpse and sort of fills into its ears, its nostrils, its mouth, into its eye sockets. And then as all the smoke finishes entering into the body, it and you see that green smoke begin to sort of seam out of those holes in its body. Some semblance of air has been returned to the lungs, and some answers may be asked of what remains of the carcass.
What were your names?
She will give you 4 names that I will make up for you at some point.
That's fine.
Okay.
I think that's sufficient. Yes. To Ember.
Yes, that is sufficient.
I think so.
Yeah, I will. Thank you,
Go on.
Varys, and I will put him up.
All right. The corpse still seems to linger, however. Not a concentration spell. You have 3 more questions.
Oh no, it doesn't work quite like that. Right? It works off of my hit dice, actually. So I can ask it one question and not ask another.
That's right. Okay, so that is very right. I apologize, I forgot that fun part of it. So as you guys see this happening, the arcane runes glowing, the black energy, and as you ask your own question, Yvain, you feel a sort of fatigue a little bit. Maybe it's not even fully noticeable, perceivable by you. But I will say those standing closest, maybe Finch and Zarval, Finch, you coming out of invisibility at this point, almost can see Yvain's breath as she asks the question. Like there's almost like almost like somebody who has took a very light drag out of a cigarette, and you can just barely see the wisps of smoke coming out between the lips as she asks her question. You're muted, Finch.
That's terrifying.
Necromancy gets that good flavor. But yes, at that moment you say, okay, that's sufficient, and the jaw will just like encrust itself shut once more, and and all that black smoke will sort of seam away from the corpse and sort of spill out of its open wounds and open orifices.
And I will put him back in his pouch very carefully and tie it up and shake that off.
Okay.
Did we want to try to bring bones to the family? We've got the means, certainly.
I don't think we need to necessarily take all of them, but a little something would seem appropriate.
These. Oh, good.
Actually, if I camp outside with you guys tomorrow, I can probably get all of them right now. If I can get some help getting them bundled up.
Certainly.
Yes.
At which point, if we can get them, wrapped in a blanket type of deal, Ember will use this once per day and just huck them into the ring space and drop them, and then come back out.
Okay. Yep. You put some of the remains back into your personal home, and yeah. At which point, Karzi will arrive on the scene and go, "Ha ha! Another victory! Ha ha ha! Ember, how was the fire breath? How did it work? Were you astonishing? Did you blaze them to cinders?"
I didn't get here fast enough.
Oh well,
Finch
shit,
waded
that's
into
all
them
right.
and was fantastic as usual.
Oh,
There was very little left to do.
we'll try again, won't we? We'll try again on the next one, I think. Next time, everyone get out of Ember's way. He's going to try something really cool.
Certainly.
Yvain would like to try to find, or to just sidle up next to Finch if possible and say something.
Sure, as the party sort of gathering themselves, you can pull Finch aside. You see Beverly off in the corner, by the way, with the spear, sort of like with her shield and kind of like trying it out. She's digging it.
So in truth, the spear is blessed by the Moonweaver.
Mm-hmm.
I do not want to step inappropriately in your faith or in your mentorship. I put it in our hands because mundane weapons won't hit specters. And it was a battle decision, but I feel like I should apologize to you because I had stepped where I cannot. She's welcome to keep the weapon while we're down here. Well, I am so sorry for interfering. I was a little frightened at that moment.
No, if it's one thing that Bahamut stands for, is protection, and I feel like you said, it was a battle decision, and it was in her best interest and to keep her safe. So had she have made it to the front line, that's not to say that she wouldn't have stood a chance, but with where she's at right now, I would have been pretty concerned about her safety. So there's no need to apologize, but I appreciate it.
Thank you.
I will also put out there for you guys, super quick sidebar. And Yvain, an excellent moment for sure. But something to be remembered is that the prime deities they all work together. They're all part of whereas in the day of challenging different faiths compete, it is in the name of like healthy competition, healthy rivalry. You'll note in the legends of Vox Machina that Pike Trickfoot, the great cleric of Sarenway, bore the Dawn Martyr plate of Dawnfather into the final battles, and that certainly was no concern of her faith. So yeah, just as a reminder that the prime deities all do get along. Some of them are even in love.
I think it was more
Yeah, of
their
course.
relationship is very special,
Right.
and I put myself maybe in a position that I shouldn't. I just don't want to interfere in the relationship. You know.
Yeah. I think it was a great moment, and I'm not saying you shouldn't have had that moment. That was an excellent moment. I just wanted to also remind you all of the culture, just in case, as a friendly reminder.
And thank
not
you.
At all. Yeah, not at all to negate the moment. That was a great moment. Okay, fantastic. So yeah, Beverly, she's sort of playing with the spear, but she's being really cautious. It's a really fucking nice spear. Like, if you will recall, it's encrusted with incredible gemstones from a horde of a dragon, and like it's like embellished with golds and silver. It's a beautiful weapon. So she's like handling
it also
with,
glows.
and it glows with the light of the moon. She is definitely handling this like it's a very important relic, and so she's like interested in it, but she's it's like a new shiny red bike she might not take out and ride. You know what I mean? Unless absolutely necessary, of course. But so yeah, she finds a sheath for it. She's going to glow pretty brightly. Maybe the sheath is passed along so that it doesn't. Or we'll just say the tip of the spear, because traditionally with the other swords, when they're in their scabbards, they don't glow. So perhaps in the same element that the spear will glow when the spear head is released, not the entire half of the spear. So she covers it up. You're muted.
Oh. I think I just
Save
remembered.
her on her torches.
And it will save her on her torches, absolutely. So maybe she will have it out when party needs light, absolutely. What was that there, Zarvok?
No, I had it confused with something else. I'm good.
Yep, no problem. With that, the party could rally themselves. Glenhelm, did you want you or your companions to go hunting for those missing bolts?
Yes, if possible.
Make me an investigation check for whoever you send to go do that.
Glenn will look for it. He's relatively methodical, and he's fine picking up after his little creations.
Fantastic. As long as you have a light source, I won't give you disadvantage.
Alrighty. Let me double check my bonus. I only rolled a 4, but I have a decent investigation check. So that's a 12 total.
12 total? Mm-hmm. They're pretty scattered around there. 12, I'll say you get half back, so 3 back.
Alrighty.
Cool. Yeah, it's a pretty. That's I don't know if you ever tried to find like a stick arrow that's shot into the forest. It's tough.
I have.
It's tough. It's the work of a couple minutes to be light on the subject. But anyway, as everybody rallies themselves and gathers their things and moves on, leaving the bodies of the Lyceum scholars behind. You can. Oh, yeah, go ahead.
Can I try and I don't know what our path forward looks like, but if it looks practical and feasible, can I try and track the Umberhulk tracks?
Absolutely, you can. Make me another survival check, or what was? Do you remember your old total by chance?
I'm sorry, I don't remember it at all.
That's okay. Go ahead and another roll.
13.
13. 13. I don't think that's going to be enough to actually track them.
No, that's good.
Let's see. Tracking DC is, we'll call it dirt and grass at best. So that's a 15 DC. So yeah, you catch a footprint here and there, but between how long ago it was, and the material and the surface, it's a little hard to track. But yep, Jorman's like, all right, so let's continue on our way. Deeper we go. And with that, you guys can begin to descend a little bit more. By the way, when you encountered this, we're gonna say only an hour had gone by when you encounter this these fallen Lyceum scholars. And you're gonna continue traveling for a while. Okay. You guys travel for quite a while. You guys travel for like 3-4 hours, making your way ever downward. And as you do so, things start to get a little weird. And all of you could sort of talk amongst yourselves here and there and recognize that it's not just you. Like maybe you'll see Beverly sort of like looking around and Jorman Tosh sort of noting things. He says, well, I must admit around this point, the Von Ethro journals still have a great deal to tell us of what's ahead. But as a narration for navigation, I believe this is where I have decidedly thought the journal loses its authenticity and reliability. She really began to sort of lose her sanity at this point, and there's great descriptions of her seeing things on the wall and images that don't make sense. At which point you guys start to see what she means or what he's talking about in the book, and all of you will experience this in different ways and different kinds. As you go past, you'll see different things that just don't quite make sense. Where you're like, turn a corner, and you'll think you see like the front of like an entire galleon sort of peeking out from the wall, and you kind of like blink a couple times. You realize, no, it's just how that rock is shaped, even though it's very precise, strangely precise. And you continue to move onward, and then maybe you'll see like a perfectly cylindrical rock like hanging from the ceiling somehow. And you guys kind of all walk around it as you're like, that's gonna fall any minute. It doesn't. And things that technically belong here but seem too rare to really make sense that they're actually here. Maybe you like start stepping on like green grass, and you Zarvolk have like this shouldn't be here. Like there's no way. And you guys continue on. You guys are, and this goes on for a bit. This goes on for like an hour. You guys are looking at things, and it's not like a fun like, oh, that's crazy that's there. It's distressing for some reason to your brain, where you like see things around the caverns as you delve deeper, where you guys see like a vein, more and more azurite. By the way, azurite is beginning to pop up here and there. You guys haven't mined the place, you don't know how deep the veins go, but here and there, azurite in strange shapes on the wall where they almost begin to flow sylvan-like, which doesn't make sense to you, Glint, and you start to be like, that's not how that works. It's not fluid, it's rock. This isn't water, this is rock. And Yvain, you start to see like, you start going by walls and you can't help but feel like you're looking at, like from a sourceless light, almost the shadows of scrawling of deep speech along the walls in row and row and row and row and row, like some kid was made to write lines in school for having made some punk prank. And you're starting to look at it, and you think if you look for long enough, you might be able to understand it for some reason. Do you?
No.
No, you're like, you start to look at it and you go, well, like that could be an A, and that could be wait, no, and you like look away. Yeah.
But above the table, this is something that it was a matter of time when she had that freaking scroll in her hand, because she's had these thoughts before.
Right.
If this is going to keep coming up, it might be appropriate to have me roll will saves or whatever.
A little madness situation. Okay, cool.
Question.
You tell me when, my friend. You tell me when you think that is. But yeah, you guys all see things around here and there that are either like geometrically distressing, or almost like your imagination's running a little bit wild down here, like a kid that's been sent into the dark basement and just is seeing things on the wall, and it's scaring them in ways that are that are completely naive to what it is. And what's worse is that there's this narration behind it all of Jorman Tosh describing and sort of narrating not the translation, but the words of the journal, speaking of this very experiences you're having. So you have this solace in knowing that you're not alone and that this is natural, but knowing that someone went insane and died before you who went down this very path, and now you're starting to experience it. Like Finch, you go by one wall and you think you see the wall, like the rocks almost seem to be in like a stalagmite formation that almost looks like scales, and for a second you think you see like the wall breathing like a dragon's belly, and you're kind of like, have a moment there. Maybe you have Zarvolg look at it, and it's just a stone wall. You're just sort of seeing the breathing. That's not actually happening. The water continues to drip. At a certain point, you notice that the flora becomes suddenly just miraculously vibrant. You turn a corner, and he's reading, and he goes, and then she speaks about coming to a forest, which I assume is a complete hallucination. You all turn a corner, and you see a lush, vibrant, beautiful green forest, healthy bark, green grass that should not grow in subterranean levels, and like the smell of like that post-rain smell, like that almost like marshy, nice rain smell.
Petrichor.
Sorry?
It's called petrichor. I love that smell.
Oh, okay. Yeah, absolutely. Petrichor. It's a great smell. Yeah, and you guys have this moment, you turn this corner and you're like, oh, it's like the land before time down here. What the fuck? And you're looking around, and that's really weird. And there's azurite everywhere, and he goes, well, she went through the forest, and I guess we go through the forest. And, you guys sort of make your way through the was somebody going to say something?
Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead.
2 quick questions. One, do we see the same things as each other?
Make me an insight check.
Alrighty. 19.
A 19. Not always. I imagine some people reveal what they're seeing. They're like, oh, did you see that? Like, just for sake of caution for the group. But other people, maybe, Yvain being an example, maybe keeping to themselves that they're seeing deep speech wrote along the walls. Maybe I'm wrong. But some people keeping things to themselves, some people not. But some things people say, like Beverly isn't like being secretive or proud. Maybe she's not trying to alert anyone. She's like, oh, did someone see a cat? Nobody saw a cat. And then like Finch asks like Zarvolg to touch the wall, maybe, or maybe not. But anyway, point being is that some things, no. In fact, for the most part, no. For that first hour, where like you see things, Glenn, you're like, what the fuck. But then you all see this tree, this whole tree situation, which Jorman seemed to think was a hallucination of Van Zyl, but in this moment, you're all having at least the same hallucination. At best, you're all seeing a forest that isn't a hallucination at all.
And the follow-up to that is, I think Glent's first instinct as a wizard would be to try and like stare deeper at things to see if he could potentially pierce through that this might be an illusion of some kind, which it might not be.
Maybe an investigation check. That's a excellent point.
Already. Not terrible. That's an 18.
An 18. So like as your party begins to go up towards the trees cautiously, you're kind of like looking at them, you like snap off some bark and like you smell it, and you're like, yeah, no, that's pretty physical. You check other parts of it. And in your thorough checking of things, you do grab one branch, and the branch feels like squishy and moist, and then the branch loses its solid form. Though it continues to be a branch, it loses its like solid wood structure and wraps around your arm like a tentacle.
Oh.
Not in like a you're all bound and fucked kind of way, but like
this is
like an octopus kind of way.
This is meat of some kind. Yeah.
Yeah, the tree feels like squishy tentacle meat, and it wraps itself around you, as if to say hello.
Glenn's going to very slowly try and extricate his arm from the tree branch.
It is not difficult. You can sort of tug at it, and then it'll slowly let go. You might even feel a couple like feelings as maybe a couple section cups let go. And you look at the branch, and it just looks like a branch, but it felt like a tentacle.
Friends, I understand this might sound like an obvious statement, but this forest is alive.
I like it.
May I don't know what kind of check this would be, but there's more to a forest than trees and grass. There are going to be bugs and small creatures.
Mhm.
Is it quiet? Is there any evidence of any sort of animal?
Make me an investigation check.
Thank you.
Or survival. Could be either or.
Survival, please.
Yep, go for it.
Oh, that is not bizarre. No, that's a 9.
A 9. You're looking around. You don't hear any signs of like there's no tweeting of birds, there's no like scouring in the bushes. You don't find any particularly convincing tracks that there's anything like sentient and alive down here. Certainly flora, but no fauna.
Yeah, so I'm going to say the forest may be alive, but the things that are alive in a forest, birds chirping, insects buzzing, those things are notably absent, eerily so. Hey, Clint, did you see the deep speech scrolled on the wall back there?
Did I add a character?
No. Oh, no.
Mm. I did not know.
Oh shit.
Yvain, while you have a moment, you see
Yeah.
this tree here, just over here, just a moment.
Yeah.
The third bough along the base, grab that for me.
And she'll very gently with her little druid fingers.
It will.
In fact, what I might do is druid craft like a little vine to reach up to it very gently.
You druid craft a little. You sort of like, yeah. Because druid craft, it's like, yeah. It's like water bending. You need water to bend it. So druid craft, you need nature to create nature. So maybe like from the side of the tree, you kind of like find a little vine. You have that vine sort of sprout into a larger vine that reaches up for it and sort of wraps around that branch of the tree, and it does so as you would expect it to. It seems to hold its integrity as a branch would, as you wrap this other secondary vine around it.
Do I notice anything?
Make me an investigation check.
No. Also, it was an 8.
It like,
no,
with an 8,
here.
you're like, that little vine I made wrapped around that branch, just fine.
I will reach up and actually touch the branch then.
The branch slithers around your arm as if it was an octopus's tentacle.
Oh, God.
It sends a shiver probably up your spine. I would imagine so. Probably you as well, Glenn.
Yeah. Glenn's doing his best to contain himself in this moment, but
yeah, when you touch wood and it turns out to be like tentacle meat, that's
Yeah.
probably alarming.
As a druid, I'm just going to very gently pull my arm away and go, "That was ghastly."
I will say, it's a good point. As a druid and you, Zarbolg, as a ranger, who are both connected to the primal essence of divine magic, that nature itself. This last hour where the hallucinations and weirdness has been going on, you, in that place where your magic sits within you, wherever you may feel that sits within your character, your heart, your chest, your hands, wherever that primal magic sits within you, it doesn't feel good. It does not feel good. You feel that where you are is a place that doesn't nurture the power of magic in nature. It is something from somewhere else.
Some kind of unnature. Some kind of unnatural.
Unnature. Some kind of aberration.
Nature. Yeah, I'm going to step back.
Mm-hmm.
Jorman's like, what you waiting for? Onward. Or that's no, sorry, that's Carsey. Carsey's like, what are you waiting for? Onward. You don't like the trees? You want me to burn them down?
I was considering it.
Maybe? I shouldn't be making any. I need a moment. If you want to, I just.
By all means, onward, friends, follow me. Beverly's like, don't touch me. And you guys kind of make your way through the bush. Beverly's fine. I think I saw the concern immediately, but she kind of like does one of those as she's going through the bush and kind of just keeps going. Yeah, sorry, Volk.
You may have already answered this, but anything else that I get from? So I was just going back through and checking like how in touch I am with nature. Anything else that I might get from Natural Explorer?
I think Natural Explorer is less of a ranger magical ability and more of like an extreme level of skill that you possess.
Okay.
So I don't think Natural Explorer will help you sort of feel that aberrantness that I was describing through your magic. I think Natural Explorer is more skill based than magic based.
All right, sounds good. Thank you.
No problem. But yeah, as you guys push through the initial very short tree line and brush, you guys will find yourself emerging in a almost like marshy forest biome that is about as lit as you'd expect in the deep dark parts of the place. But it is softly lit here and there by veins of azurite that sort of are here and there. And yeah, we'll explore this fun house of maybe wood and maybe leaves, but most certainly not only that in a little bit. So let's take a break, and we'll be back soon.
The song to get to the name of it.
I miss you.
Yeah.
That's I miss you by
I think it might be
Blink-182.
called "I Miss You," right?
Yeah, it's called I
That's
Miss You
right.
by Blink-182. That's right. All right, let's get back to it. All righty then. Screen share away. You guys all, I'm not going to put your minis down just yet, just because things might move pretty quickly. You guys step out. You find indeed there are still cavernous walls, but there is also water. You find a deep plunge of water as you emerge from the tree line. You find yourself standing on like the cavern side. It looks very much like you guys are in a natural underdark cavern, but like the floral energy has just taken over. Just like a wild mother just spit on the place and it all popped up into life. And yeah, there's a pretty deep water that seems to lead beyond into a larger cavern. Also, weirdly enough, there are what look like lanterns. But you would recognize these lanterns anyway. These are like lanterns that are specifically used in like the streets of Amon. And they're like just very delicately, very nicely hung over the way forward. And you guys are like, it's a weird place to find that. In perfect condition and fully lit. What do you do?
Do you all still have that 10-foot pole?
Valvo does.
Yeah, I believe I do.
Would you be able to give that lantern just a little poke for me, if possible?
Can I book it?
It's a little high up. So you look at the screen. I'm gonna place you, Zarvon. So you're right there, my friend. You know, even if you swam out across the water, that's like 20 feet up from the water's top. You could try and climb the wall if you wanted to give it a good poke.
Can I climb across the wall there to that little landing right before the lantern?
Sure. Do you have a climbing speed? I don't think you do.
No.
Okay, just make me a, let's call it an athletics or acrobatics check to make the climb.
All right. 24.
Oh yeah, that'll do just fine. You very carefully rock climb your way up and over to here. And you take your lantern and give it a good poking. As you poke one of the glass panes, you would think that it would shatter, but alas, it does not. In fact, when you poke it, it's rather squishy. And in fact, the bottom of it, like it sort of comes alive and goes like this and sort of points the bottom open portion of it, and teeth sort of straight from every side, bites down on the end of your pole. And starts to go, starts to bite on your pole. You're like, ah, fuck. And you're like trying to keep it while you're holding onto the wall.
Oh, it's an angry lantern.
That was what I was afraid of.
Make me an acrobatics or athletics check to pry free your pole without falling off the wall.
13.
13. You manage to wrench it free and almost fall off the wall. You kind of do like a wide swing, but then you manage to like catch yourself, and you look back and the lantern just goes back to being a lantern.
All right, well, it doesn't like being poked, but it seems harmless enough.
Would Glenn have any notion of what sort of creature might be able to do this sort of thing on this scale?
Do you mean like when you say on this scale? Do you mean the lantern specifically, or do you mean the
There's the
breadth
lantern
of illusion?
and the trees, like the breadth of illusion and/or squishy meat environments.
Got it. Go ahead, squishy meat plants. Go ahead and make me a nature or arcana check, your choice.
I'll go with arcana. That's an 18 on the dice. That is a 29 in total.
Well, hell. Let me just pull up the monster manual. But seriously though, give me just a half a second.
Yeah, sure.
You know that aboleths do have layers, as they are known. There are many creatures that are considered to be legendary in nature, such as an aboleth, and there are those that are considered to have a layer and be able to create secondary effects to protect themselves with. Their layer is as much their weapon as their bodies, which are aboleths as well. But to have affected your whole group as such, it would either take... no single aboleth has this power as far as you know. But if you're thinking about like just aberrations in general, you've heard of a scarce few capable of such massive, if you are considering this to be illusion, such a massive illusion. There's very few that have such power within their fingertips. But it feels very psionic. It feels very aberrant, and you're not entirely sure that this is all an illusion.
Yeah.
Like you touch the branch, and most illusions your hand goes through it. You know, there are some illusions that can be solid, where like a terrain can be made solid by higher powerful magics, powerful illusionists. This could be that. This could be a sort of hallucinatory terrain situation. You're not sure. There's too many unknown variables to put your finger on it. But if this is the power of a single entity, it must be astronomically powerful. But you highly doubt that it is a single being that is doing this.
The deeper we go here, the more convinced I am that this was a city of aboleths. The scope just seems too obscene to be the work of just a singular one or two entities, at least that I can think of. And if it was, then we would want to be going in the opposite direction, at speed, if preferable. But this is going to be very strange.
Isn't I mean the thing that we said that they were doing, isn't that what we're looking for?
It was. I suppose just be careful when we find it.
Okay. Does the party wish to like swim through the small stream and get to the larger cavern, or what's the plan?
I wish to not swim.
Okay. You wanna brave the lantern instead?
Ew.
Ew.
Yeah, I suppose so. I mean, I don't want to try. I want to try and like not initiate contact with it.
Make me. I'm not gonna give you a stealth because it's at the crux of the ceiling and it's creating light downward.
Yeah,
So you can't really hide.
that's
But
fair.
go ahead and make me like an acrobatics check to try and like get close to the water, but not too close to the creature.
Oh, that's a 5.
Would you say Zarvol gets a little too close to the creature or a little too close to the water?
Probably probably the creature.
Okay. You're more spooked by the water than the lantern. You can deal with evil lanterns, but water's a little more spooky, unknown stuff beneath the surface. You get a little close to the lantern, and as you get like right under it, right where that little hole would be, this purple tentacle shoots down from the center and sticks itself to the top of your head, or tries to anyway. Yeah, that's gonna be a 18 to hit.
Yeah, it hits.
So this tentacle comes over and slaps itself across the side of your face. You are going to, as it does, you take 6 bludgeoning damage, and it sticks itself to the side of your face and starts like repelling you upward towards it. You're like and you're like being like picked up by the adhesive attached tentacle to your cheek, and you're being like dragged up into the air towards the lantern. Okay. She's like, oh! Need any help, Zavog?
Yes, please. Can I
lightning bolt?
it?
It's too late. He casts lightning bolt.
Okay, yeah.
You said yes, please, and he's also happy to help. Almost too happy to help, some might say. All right, let's see what we get. A crack of lightning fires across, bounces off of the wall to some small extent, but largely directly hits the lantern above you, and you get a little on the side of your face. You're like, ah! And then you sploosh into the water below as the adhesive disattaches, and the lantern sort of like flickers and then like turns into like almost like a black mass of like leathery skin, and then sort of like drags itself across the wall like an ooze and sort of disappears into the folds of the rocks.
Okay, ew. and now, and now I'm in the water.
Now you're in the water, like a wet cat. And Fen starts swimming up to you, going like he's gonna save you.
We're gonna try and swim to the like forward to whatever that is in front of us. Is that like is there like a rocky shoreline up above there? Yeah.
Yeah, so as you swim forward and you make your way out of the sort of entrance crevasse in the cavern side, you, Zarvog, will see an open cavernous space with tons of veins of azurite in the walls, open passages that go to different directions, and yeah, you swim like right up to the shore and sort of get up and stand up, and the soil is fertile under your feet, and you almost feel like you're standing on the tops of trees as you walk by, like almost like someone just like chopped a good foot or two off the top of like healthy trees and just like dropped them in here, and you're like walking over top of them.
Yeah. All right.
Almost like buried trees.
Yeah. Come on up, Fen. I'll try and pull Fen up with me.
Yeah, Fen gets up there, no problem. He's a pretty athletic little boy. Does anybody else wish to follow?
Yeah, I'll follow.
Okay. And everyone's like, don't worry, Mr. Zarvolk, sir, we're coming, says Beverly. Sounds like everybody's going.
Yeah.
Beverly goes, by the power of Grayskull, and she lifts her spear into the air, and it makes bright light. Sorry, that's something I heard in a play. Sorry, guys.
No, that was awesome. Should we? How is Zarvolg looking? I feel like maybe we should take a short rest, maybe heal up some.
Yeah, he's on the verge of being bloodied.
Yeah, no, that's what I was thinking.
A lot of things keep biting him.
I'm hearing that in Zarvolk's voice going, things keep biting me, like thumps his foot.
Maybe we could find a less bitey place and take a breather.
Jorman says, I know it's probably most certainly deceiving, but I will say this cabin looks rather cozy.
Zarvolg kind of gestures toward Glint, and he's like, there's a lot of this stuff around that you like, right?
There is an abundance of it. I can try and collect samples, see if there's any difference in purity, but if there is, that means we're getting closer to the source, but I think we are, just given the givens of, flesh lanterns and meat trees, but
That's the name of this session.
Flesh
lanterns and meat trees.
That's a pretty good title.
I like that. Good job, bud.
Could Glint take a look at the Azurite and just see if there is any notable differences in like grade or purity, if there is even such a thing with that, or
Sure. Make me your stone cunning will give you advantage, I believe.
Alrighty.
Investigation.
Hey, Zarvolk,
Yeah,
take 26 healing.
I saw that. Thank you. I'm looking basically all the way better.
And 26 on investigation. 18 plus 8.
Hey, look at that. Double win. You look around the cavern. Do you have Mason's tools by chance?
I do.
Like that? You do? Okay, good.
Mm.
You mine some of it out. I think the increased amount of Azurite speaks for itself. That yes, you are getting closer to more resonant psionic power. Yeah, I would say this is, though it does form in veins like metal does, it is very gemstone-like. And the veins do seem to be getting sort of, like, again, you haven't mined it, so the mine like finds the direct center of like the largest portion and starts opening it up where you see more of those veins more clearly. But they're peeking through here and there quite exceptionally. You get the sense that if you were to mine this place and like properly open it up, it would, if you were to crack this shell, you'd find quite a bit inside. So it does confirm your suspicions. You're probably getting quite closer to whatever psionic power seems to be forming this, or has been forming this for the last millennia. Plus.
Understood. Okay. Yeah, we are certainly getting very near to whatever psionic locus is forming all of this. I suppose to be on your guards. If the things here are hostile, then we'll likely be arriving at the point where they would become very hostile very shortly.
Well, I guess the closer we get, the less far we have to go.
That is true.
Move forward.
All right, move forward. Jorman does say, will we thinking of a rest, or are we proceeding forward?
Yes, we're resting. Please, if we may.
Very well. Causey says, I could use a rest. I expended some of my power back there. and he's still glowing a little bit. The more runes he gets, the more brighter he glows, but he's only got about 3 right now. Krauzy says, "Oh, Mr. Grimhelm, do you have any of that delightful temperature-controlled bubble of yours?"
Of course, just give me 10 minutes, and I will happily ritually cast a tiny sphere.
Excellent. You wait for 10 minutes. You guys all sit in the dark, and some of you see these Amon lanterns. Some of you see mushrooms that are strangely fantastical in color. Maybe Yvain reminds you of a certain forest where you met a certain rabbit. All of you seeing various things. Ember, at one point you're looking in the water and you could swear you see that there's a number of trees on fire under the water, despite the perfectly level surface. Finch, you look into this one. You're sort of sitting there, and there's this one rather small body of water, but you think you see a massive leviathan creature travel by under the surface, as if this was just an earth, this was a thin earth moat, and underneath it was a giant space of water for a leviathan creature. And that gives you a little feeling that's not great. And though you might regard these to your friends or keep them to yourselves, largely agree that you're going a little loopy. And that these aren't true dangers as far as you can tell, at least the ones that aren't joint hallucinations. There's a number of pathways and waterways. Sometimes you'll hear things. Ember. And Beverly is kind of holding her spear a little close. She's saying some prayers to Bahamut. Bahamut, I know I'm not your favorite. I know I'm not your favorite, but I know Finch is. So and I'm Finch is square. So could you help us out? Or just kind of saying little things like that, and but eventually, boing, the bubble spawns out. College is finally. And you guys can sort of hop in there for a short rest, just sort of sit down and chill out. At a certain point, I think your little buddy here, Tosh, is flipping through the book, and he's going to say, "Well, we're making massive discoveries. We're probably at the very bottom, the very heart of the Crystal Den Caverns, and nearing Salar indeed. But I would like to recall a passage from within the pages regarding what it is that we might be encountering down the line." And he's going to flip through his book, and he's going to go, this is the one. So she speaks of this ruined city made up entirely of an emerald marble, a material the likes of which none have ever seen, and built into structures of unfathomable design. She regards them as both skyscraping and aquatic, that they geometrically don't make much sense, but also are somehow structurally sound, twisting pillars that stretch all the way to the seat of Amon, kissing the bedrock of the earth. And she also describes, which is probably of most interest, at the peak of the central pillar floats a giant pearlescent disk, one that she referred to as the moon disk, that bathes the entire city of Salar in an unsettling milky white light that refracts eerily through the emerald spires. I think this is worth its. Oh, this is true. If we could find this moon disk, imagine the power of this to be able to shield an entire city. Imagine what it could do for Amon. You're probably protected from any threat. No more Forma Enclave. Nothing like that ever again. Imagine it.
I think we're jumping the gun. You haven't even seen this one. You don't know what it is. You don't know what it does.
Oh, I know. I'm being optimistic. Most certainly. For all I know, what she's spoken at that point could be hallucinations. But they're, I will admit, they are around the end of the journal where her madness takes most hold. in the pages that were most coherent at the time, she describes these in such utter detail.
Does this guy seem okay?
Make an insight check, yeah.
I'd like to as well.
I would like to as well.
Okay, go for it.
I don't need to. He's a
Yeah.
nutter.
You won.
Like the fervor is pretty well communicated. So
Fervor.
another 19 insight though. So it's not bad.
19 insight. Anyone do better?
Yeah, 21. And I think Ember got a 22.
15 plus 7, 22.
He, you get the sense that he's, like you see Beverly in the corner and she's kind of got this, like, Bahamut, can't remember the hymns right now, Bahamut, and, you see Karzi over there, who seems to be fine, for whatever reason, but similar to Beverly, you get the sense he's unsettled, like much of you, what you've seen. He certainly seems eccentric, but as far as, like, madness, insanity goes, just think he's just, in the truth of your insight, you think he might just be, like, very excited and very eccentric and certainly off-put by the number of strange sights that you have seen so far. So no, you don't think he's completely off his rocker or mad or anything. And his speakings of the moon disk, you get the sense are like, you know, a discoverer's optimism. He's like, if that's true, like, imagine what good it could do. Like, that's kind of how he's framing.
All
It's
right,
not
yeah,
like-
okay.
It's not like the moon disk, and he's putting on a tinfoil hat or anything like that.
Tube! The tube!
The tube!
No.
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 No, he's
Not
not a
yet.
disciple of the tube. No, he seems a little off-put and a little on edge from the strange sights he's seen, but generally you think he is sane if eccentric, and certainly optimistic about this archaeological discovery, hopeful archaeological discovery. Just optimistic.
Can I talk to him?
Sure.
All right, so what exactly is it that you want to do when we get close enough to this thing?
Well, I don't really. I don't know. This is an exploratory gig, if you will. I certainly don't have the resources to pull back giant slabs of emerald marble if we were to find something like that. I think this is more for discovery's sake and figuring out what dangers are here and gaining information. That's how archaeology works on the first delve, anyway. Yes.
So
Go around, you see what you see, witness exactly, assess the danger, and take important field notes and report back your findings, and then maybe a much larger expedition of a couple hundred find their way down. Maybe that mine of Azumite gets reestablished. Who knows? But as of now, we're just explorers finding what we find, I say.
All right.
Lynn,
Hmm?
who's got the highest passive perception here? Yeah, Yvain.
Probably Evane.
Okay.
22.
I'm gonna say Yvain and Zarvok, you're pretty engaged with Jorman here. So what about the other three of you? Finch, Ember, and Lynn. How are you guys?
19.
Nice.
Not high. I think it's like an 11. Let me double check.
I know Finch, you got a pretty low
Yeah.
wisdom.
Oh yeah, no, Finch is they are in La La Land.
Finch hasn't been driven mad because Finch hasn't noticed anything, any hallucinations. Whatever entity's like, puppet show, and Finch is like, missing all of it. The trick, Beverly, to not going mad is not noticing it.
It's blissful ignorance.
Ignorance is bliss, as they say in the Matrix. Ember, you will notice this. You're sitting there in the tiny hut, getting a little rest in, and you kind of from the corner of your eye notice that in the shadows of this interior space, let's call it. In the shadows, some way off, you see some moving shapes. Not shadows, as they are in the shadows, but within the shadows, you do see this humanoid shape. A little long, a little lanky. Legs are proper size. The arms are a little long. And you also notice that, like, around the shoulder and upper torso area, you do see, like, these, like, long, thin, writhing shapes around as you see this sort of face in the dark, observing, if you will. And I want you to make me an investigation check to see if you're hallucinating.
Dirty 20.
The edges are too fine. It's too consistent. It's too outside of what you have been seeing. You're pretty sure it's not an illusion, and it's not a hallucination as far as you know. You think that you and your party are being watched, and you're the only one who's noticed it to this point.
I'm gonna activate the earring.
Okay.
Zarvog,
Yeah.
about 100 feet, and give some spatial direction. There's something watching us. Kind of like charcoal on a dark background, but something's there.
I'll grab Fen and ready ourselves.
Okay, you gotta pull Fen close. Do you want to try and observe what it is?
Yeah.
You are Gloomstalker, and you can see quite far from this bubble. Make me a perception check at disadvantage. If you want to use the eyes of the eagle, I'll give you a... I'm gonna give you the disadvantage, because there's another item that's supposed to make you.
No disadvantage. Okay.
Technically, mechanically, you're supposed to get the straight roll, but
Yeah.
this is about sight, not distance, you know?
Yep, that's all right. I'll take the disadvantage. I got a 15 at disadvantage.
That will do. You see the shape in the distance. It, based on the structure of the body, it looks to be feminine. If very lanky and long, despite the sort of tentacle-like shapes around the upper body. It seems almost like embrace the creature. Medium, no taller than 6 feet. Long, spindly hair. You also notice that, like, it is lightly clothed in, like, rags and such, but it does look to have, like, a proper backpack over its shoulder as it's in the dark looking at you all.
Does it just on immediate appearance? I'm going to say, like, without using any special techniques, just from knowledge, does it seem humanoid?
I'm gonna say you don't have enough detail for that. Like Ember said very aptly, like a dark shape on a charcoal background. It's just you don't have enough information to know, even with your dark vision.
Fair enough. I guess I'll say back on the earring. Can I get run it?
You do.
Or we can throw a little light on the situation. I can pitch a bonfire 60 feet out there.
I mean, it's good a shot as any, but you might startle it.
The token just sitting out there looks so good.
Oh yeah, you like that?
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that'll be my to do, is to drop a bonfire 60 feet out from where we are.
All right.
Go ahead, we're ready.
You like put it right in the face of this creature, and as you do so, the light flashes up, and you see this old, like hag-like woman with a grayish green, mostly grayish green, mostly grayish green skin. Like spindly, like whatever hair, long fingers, extra long arms. Almost looks to be in certain places like layered, as if it has like like almost like shell growths, like underwater shell growths up its arm a bit, like coral almost in a little bit, and across the top of its body, almost like some kind of cloak, just black octopus-like tentacles, sort of like go around her arm, certainly cover up her bust. She does wear rags on the lower body that are covered in strange, magical, witchy-like tokens. She's barefoot. She just looks like a hag that's like wrapped in black tentacles, and she kind of and she like steps back, sort of startled by it, and kind of like goes around the rock, and she kind of clutches the shoulder of what looks to be like a fine enough leather bag, very odd for the peel. Looks like it came from somewhere, maybe up top even, or stolen, perhaps. Who knows? But it's a fine bag. It doesn't fit the rest of her appearance. She kind of scurries back and sees you all, and kind of, and she kind of looks at you all with uncertainty as she just kind of clutches her bag, almost golem-like.
Is she wet?
No, not really. Did that decide if you're gonna shoot her or not? She's wet.
Hey there. What's in the bag?
Goes, these are my things. Mine. You wouldn't know the number of illusions I had to put on myself to obtain these items in Amon.
Oh, there's a thing over there.
Yeah.
Hey, Yvain, my Lyceum scholar, you. Go ahead and make a history check.
History check. Fucked. No. That's a 4.
All right, never mind. All right, it's not.
Sorry.
No problem. No problem.
I don't like my travel dice.
Says, what are all of you doing down here in the deep crystal fens?
Looking for an unseeable city.
Oh. You're here for Solar?
Oh, you know it.
Of course I know it. One doesn't live as deep as I do without knowing neighbors. Are you going to try and kill me?
I don't think we have any particular reason to, do we?
That doesn't always change people's opinions. If they want to kill something, they find out.
As of yet, I don't think you've given us any inclination.
It seems you still have reason about you in this place. That won't last very long. Why don't you come to my family home and meet my sister? I think you might be very interested to speak with us. There's much that we could offer. Especially if you're planning to go to the Unseeable City. You know why they call it the Unseeable City, don't you?
We've heard the rumors, at the very least.
Well, if you're intending to go deeper still, you're going to need help, young ones. And I and my sister know how to see what is unseen. So, I will walk in this direction. If you decide to follow, you're most welcome to. Yes? Ma'am?
You said, can Yvain see this? Like Yvain's in the middle of
You
this,
can
right?
all
All
see
right.
it. Oh yeah,
Can I see that she's a hag?
She
All right,
looks pretty
so
hag-like.
above the table. All right. I'm gonna do something, and if I need to roll to see, just tell me. In Sylvan, she's going to say, I didn't know the Fae existed so far below the ground.
Turns, tilts her head at you, and she will continue in fun and say, "Oh, you flatter me, young one. Like I said, we have much to discuss. I was headed home. If you would like to come, you need only follow. If you would like to take your chances against that which has broken the mind of every mortal who's looking on it, have fun. But I'll be going home now. If you wish to have tea, well, bring your own. We don't have much tea down here." She'll very, very easily and very cautiously begin to make her way down that very side cavern.
If I had to take my chances with the Fae or with the Aberrant, whatever it is, I'd rather take my chances with the Fae. But that's just my opinion. If there's a clock on this, I think we should go.
I'm given to agree. And she makes a compelling argument of everyone before us has failed to both find the city and return.
She goes, "Oh boy, a decision to be made. Evil or eviler."
It hasn't beat my face yet, so that's a good sign.
Finch.
Well,
I'm not so sure about this. Getting just a little uneasy vibes. That's all.
I'm getting uneasy vibes too, but. And she's just kind of look around at everything that's going on. Might be worth it.
Okay.
Farsi's like, "Yeah," and he like gives you a little shake of the shoulder, Finch, like, "Yeah, there we go."
Okay. Strength in numbers, I suppose.
Yes.
Sure. Yeah.
Farsi's like, "Ooh, that's good. I'm gonna write that down. Strength.
Strength in numbers.
That's great. That's very
Doty,
fast.
take this down.
Yeah, Doty, take this down."
I come complete with 2 questions. One is, did we actually get the short rest?
Not yet, but it's still, even if you go with her, I'll say it's still going. Because you'll see why, if you go.
And 2, is there anything that we should know about dealing with these sorts of things, Yvain? You're our lore expert.
Would you like me to make a roll for that, Mr. DM?
I would say, well, I mean, what is it that you believe you're dealing with is the question.
Well, I asked Hag, you said Hag. I'm like, all right, well, Hag Fae. She has some limited understanding of the Fae Wild, which is why she was surprised to find Fae in the Underdark.
Right.
Yeah.
Sure. I'll say anyone who wants to, because I know there's multiple intelligent folks around here. Anyone who wants to, well, you can roll your roll, Yvain. If anyone wants to roll their own knowledge check, they may as well. Yeah, roll me a. Oh, what are you rolling? To deal with the Fae. Great question. Let's call it a history check, I suppose.
19.
18 total.
19. So Glint and Yvain, you will have a similar knowledge base. Dealing with the Fae can be very tricky because they are by nature tricky. The Fae are generally considered to be like cranky and somewhat mean. And they'll twist your words on you if you're not careful. Like, you should be very careful what you say and that ensure that there isn't any obvious implied meaning to what you say because they can use that against you. The second thing is that Fae, not in a magical way, but in a deep, almost like, why would I do anything else? Like breathing almost. Believe in reciprocity. In all ways. So if you go into a Fae's home and they offer you an apple, and you take that apple and you eat that apple, whether they tell you or not, they believe you owe them for that apple until that apple's paid back. They might tell you up front and be like, now you owe me for that. Ha ha ha. Here's how I'm going to ruin your life with that. Or they might not tell you and just follow you around for the rest of your life and piss you off. And you have no idea why. It was because you ate that fucking apple all those years ago. So they believe in reciprocity, whether they use that as a function of a prank or they genuinely want reciprocity. And that they will use your words against you. So be very careful how you frame words. That is what you two would know about dealing with the Fae.
So in my understanding, Elaine, I imagine you're more of the expert in this. But the core rules I was told were to be exceedingly polite and choose your words carefully, and to be careful both of what is accepted and given. Do not give them your name. Do not accept food. Do not make a deal or a promise or an oath unless you fully intend to keep it and have a full understanding of what you are both gaining from it and what you stand to lose if you fail.
Do not say thank you. Do not say I'm sorry. And she will look right at Bev and say, I know you've been trained in all your life to do all these things. Do not say thank you.
Oh man, don't be polite.
I know, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. It's hard. It's really hard for me too.
Okay.
Don't say thank you and don't say sorry.
She'll also kind of look around. She'll also go say, oh, I know I'm not the really smart people here, but I was told about the Fae once, and I heard that's also important that if you want to avoid them or make them go away, you need to do things that don't make sense. And they'll sort of flip out and run away. One fun way I heard about is that if you put your clothes on backwards, they'll leave you alone. They won't go anywhere near you.
Since we want to go near them, I say we keep our clothes on right side out and follow our lead.
Yeah, of course, I just does. Yeah.
No, Beverly, your feedback is welcome here. Thank you for sharing.
Oh, okay. Sounds like the party is following this hag.
Yeah.
All right. You guys follow her through what is almost like, sort of like a long hanging, almost like willowy vines that you kind of like push out of the way. And it reveals another chamber ahead, still very dark, like it almost gives like Predator 1 vibes, where it's like a dark jungle. This is almost like a more jungly biome, like not too different from the past one, but it starts to almost become that much more lush and viney. And as you follow the entity some way through, this woman, she goes, I'm glad to see that you are coming along. By the way, my name is Cynthia. And who might all of you be?
Yvain will say, my friends and my family call me Evie.
Well, good to know, Evie.
I'm called Grimhill.
Ah, I see. Very good. Very good. Your name's No. Interesting. Very interesting.
Darvo.
Oh, pleasure.
Finch and guard.
Good to meet you, Finch on the guard. Carsey goes, I am known as Carsey. That is my name. If you must have it. Beverly's like, Mr. Carsey, what are you doing? He goes, oh, what? Oh, right. That's still my name, but a nickname, if you intend to, like, steal it or something. She kind of goes, oh, I promise you, dears, I have little use of names down here. And oh, she looks at Beverly. Goes, and just turns around and keeps walking. Beverly goes like white as a sheet. Goes, you guys all just kind of keep walking quietly. You make your way through the brush, and indeed you find no issue and come to what looks like a very quaint cottage that is decorated with a number of strange skulls of mandibled creatures, and it looks like a very nice enough hut. She walks up and sort of waves her hand, and the door unlocks itself and swings open. And as the door opens, you hear a voice call out. It says, "Oh, Cynthia, my sister, are you back already?" She goes, "Yes, sister, and I've brought some friends I found down here in the caverns." She goes, "Have you?" And you see a woman who does not look very different from her sister. Indeed, similar but different. She also has the sort of somewhat tentacly appearance, sort of wrapped down her arms. The same. She looks like the same kind of hag. They look like twins, basically, but similar but different, if you know what I mean. In both race and the attachments of that race, but the clothing is different. The attachments of tentacles are slightly different. The like almost shell-like growths are maybe on different portions of her body, but clearly they're the same. They see each other and they give each other like a little hug, and you can hear the of their tentacles sort of slithering against one another, and she sort of stands back and goes, "Yes, I found them down here, and I thought, wouldn't it be nice to have some guests? It's been, how long has it been, sister, since we've had guests?" She goes, "I don't know, it has been about 25 years, something like that, I'd say, since we had so many guests in our home. Strapping like the last ones." And then they will, you guys could all sort of be in the doorway. He says, "Please come in. I'm sorry we are not admittedly very good hosts. It's a rather dark, dank world down here. There's not much that you city folk would find interesting, except maybe me and my sister. Allow me to introduce myself. I am Trista. It is a pleasure."
Trista. Cynthia.
See, so what brings such interesting, shall we call you, adventurers down here?
We're coming to hopefully find the ruins of Salah.
She looks at her sister, for Cynthia. She goes, "Salah." And she goes, "Salah." She goes, "Tell me, how have you found the Crystal Fen Caverns so far?"
Troubling. Not illusory. There's something, but that wasn't a tree that wrapped its tentacle around my wrist. I know something of how trees behave, and generally, at least above ground, not like that.
Oh,
And
those
the
aren't
land-
trees, my dear.
Yeah.
Do you know what they are?
Yes, I do. But it does not matter. What matters is that you want to go deeper into the matters. And I'm afraid your little minds will not be able to handle it. Look at us! We've been here for a very long time. and it has not done well for our complexion.
What brought you down here?
The same thing as you, my dear. Discovery of the unseen. My, how me and my sister and so many more hungered for knowledge, discovery, wealth, power, what have you. We're the only two left, and it has changed us irrevocably. I want you to make me another history check. Evade. Now that you're getting a little peek into who they are and what they're willing to.
17.
Now you remember. There's a bit of a story around the Lyceum. It's sort of it sounds very much like a cautionary tale. It's very similar to maybe stories your mother and father told you about different mountains and some werewolf or terrible monster was there to scare you from going too close for danger's sake. And the Lyceum students sort of told a similar story to ward them off from wandering into the forbidden vaults at night, and certainly to try and keep them away at the Crystal Fen Caverns. They whisper quite seriously about a number of explorers and treasure seekers who wandered into the subterranean ruins of Crystal Fen, and have encountered one or both of what are known as the Sister Grast, wretched witches who are wrapped up in tales of fright, dark dealings, and unholy pacts. Evil, horrible creatures, don't go down there. That is what you've heard around the Lyceum. These horrible, monstrous witches that will bind your soul and steal your pearls.
Goodness gracious.
Who might that be?
No, I think I've heard of you.
Oh.
I've had some time to study a bit at the Lyceum. I'm not a student, just a guest. But I think I've heard your names whispered.
Oh, if our names are making its way to the surface, I imagine we're not doing our job too well, are we, for Cynthia? She says, I do not know how they heard us. You know I put up about a half dozen illusions every time I go anywhere near a home. She goes, I know, sister, I know. Sometimes things do slip through the cracks, though, don't they?
I worry about offending you, but if it makes any difference, it's spoken of not as a hard, cold fact and more of as a legend. Cautionary tale, if you will. I don't mean to offend.
I see. What have you heard, I wonder?
Nothing specific. You've been called witches, but so have I, more or less on a daily basis, so there's that.
She looks at Zarvolk and she gives you like a look of like at you, Zarvolk, and the other one sort of cackles. And she says, well, I think witches is about the nicest thing we've been called in about 100 years. I'm so sorry. I would offer you to sit, but we just don't have enough seats around here, do we? But please make yourself comfortable as much as you can.
Ian will sit down. Just
Cool.
pull up a flat of floor.
I think, who's got as you guys are, it seems you take a moment, some of you, to like lean up against a wall or a shelf or just kind of get cozy around the room, and the two witches sort of like look at each other and who's got a good passive perception? I know you do. What do you got?
Oh, 22.
22?
16.
16? Sure, I'll say anyone above 15, so you two. You might notice for Cynthia sort of whisper something to her sister. She'll just kind of nod at her. And maybe very briefly see your eyes dart in Beverly's direction and then return back to the group. Beverly's like almost literally hiding behind Finch at this point. Seems that the initial reaction from Felicia is sort of put her off. But yeah, so Trista will continue, seems to be perhaps the elder, or whatever. She says, so, there is much to speak about. It's been so long we've had visitors, but I expect you didn't come all the way down here just to make friends. Though we do, of course, enjoy small talk, though we don't practice very much.
We're seeking entrance into the unseeable city. Your sister hinted that the both of you knew a way in or had better protections against it than most.
Tell me, dwarf, what is it that you see in the walls that glow so bright?
In terms of out of character, the hallucination aspects, like the deep speech and all the other things.
You can answer that however you wish.
Ooh.
Things in the wall that glow so bright.
Mostly, I see reminders. That I would rather not have around.
You're a rather free-form thinker for a dwarf, if you don't mind my saying. I remember them to care a lot more about stone and rock and what lies in the veins here and there. No, to what I was referring to was the glowing stones in the wall. They're known as azimite.
We have found a fair measure of that.
By chance, do you know how it's made?
Steeping in psionic energies over an extended period of time.
There it is, isn't it? You see, the practice of arcane magic, illusions are things that you put into the world to confuse the minds of those around you. Yes. But psionics are much more about dazzling the mind of those in front of you. So you see, the things that you see that boggle your brain so are not created to dazzle you all. They're not illusions so much as they are in your mind, being displayed before your very eyes. How do you see reality? How are you aware of reality? What you see, what you taste, what you touch, what you feel, what you hear. These are the only ways we perceive reality. And they can be tricked so very easily. A little telepathy. At this point, you all hear her voice in your head go, telepathy. So, I would offer you this. Protection from telepathy. A way to keep your mind out of the steeping of psionics as you travel deeper. This is the key to seeing the unseen, is to protect your mind from what you cannot see. This is what we offer. But there is a price in exchange, if you're willing to hear our bargain.
And what is the price you're asking?
You see, me and my sister have pests. And we've had these pests for so very long, they just do not like to leave us alone, which is why we've had to relocate even deeper and deeper into the crystal fen caverns to avoid them. Perhaps you might have heard of a creature known as an Umberhulk.
We have.
You see, a couple have taken up residence a couple of caverns away, and we were just having to consider relocating. If you were to say, go there, slay these Umberhulks for us, we wouldn't need to relocate. And in return, we could provide you temporary protections upon your minds from those squid creatures I'm not sure you've encountered quite yet.
Interesting.
Seems a reasonable deal. May we discuss it?
Of course, dear, of course.
Should we step outside a moment for something of a sidebar?
Yeah, it's probably a good idea.
All right, you guys can all step outside, and so you do. Drummond says, "Intriguing, awful, intriguing."
It sounds surprisingly equitable.
Clint, put your lower your glasses on. Let's think our way through the words. It's a very good offer. It's
Too good of an offer.
it's a scrup. It's not even that it's a good offer. It's that it's scrupulously neat. However, those
It's vague.
Umberhulks take
It's
those things apart.
it's vague to the point of being not enforceable.
Mm-hmm.
One, we don't know how many Umberhulks. Do they come in pairs? Do they come in hundreds? There's a difference in performance. Two, temporary reprieve. Is that a minute? Is it a day? Is it a second?
These are the things we need to be discussing. Yes, absolutely. So, how many Umberhulks? How long do we have protection for? The protection for could be until we go above ground to Imon again.
That just needs to be negotiated, and it needs to be exceptionally clear as
Yes.
presented based on your dossier of type as a merchant. I'm not a particularly good one, but I understand performance.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, no. That's why we're chatting.
I was just like, "Thank God you're here! I didn't think of any of it. I thought it was a really good deal. Now I realize it was apparently not."
And to Karzi, Yvain will say, "Yeah, I know. That used to happen to me all the time too. After a little while, you start to learn the things you're better at, and decide it's better to step outside and talk to your friends."
Ember, are you sure you're not in the wrong career? You could be a lawyer.
I'm not gifted in that way. I've just been
Fool me.
I've been burnt on a number of business dealings, assuming the best. I do try to learn from my failures.
Right. Rather humble about it, but I think rather genius. But anyway, please proceed. Sorry. I don't mean to take up the spotlight all the time.
Out of character, what wording did they use regarding handling the Umberhulks? Did they say like take care of them? Did they say eliminate them?
I think they said go hunt them, go slay them. I don't remember the exact word I utilized, but like kill the Umberhulks.
Okay.
I just have a flash of the movie Formula 51, where the one drug chemist ends up in the trunk of the car because the guy said, "Take care of him," and he meant to watch after him, not take care of him.
Like, they've been gone for days. What are they doing over? And then there's like Umberhulks just being like cradled, being like fed out the bottle. Who's a good little Umberhulk? Like, you're just doing what you told us to do.
Being precise.
Just being precise.
Okay, could you imagine doing that to a Fae?
I mean, they're like, I guess I gotta respect the contract. Yeah, it took care of them. Now there's like 3 times as many now that they're prospering.
It's like a Fae Uno reverse.
Yeah, man, you can trick the Fae, put it back on them, absolutely.
All right, so back inside to discuss specifics.
Yeah.
Ember,
Glant, maybe one of the two of you wants to step forward for negotiations at this point.
Ember, I think you're better with your words than I am.
Yeah.
I'm happy to.
Yeah. I just knew I wasn't asking the right questions and that it sounded too good. Like, you know why. Wait, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. She's going to do her little awkward step back.
I was just like, I don't mean to brag or anything, but I've negotiated a couple of modeling deals in my time. I don't know if that was quite going to fit. I'm just kidding. It's fine. It's fine. I see the judgment. It's all good. Fine. Somebody else. I mean, you guys can wander back. Oh, yeah, go ahead.
Well, once we wander back, we find your offer intriguing, but there are some specifications that are perhaps a little bit vague, and we, being limited in our understanding, need to have some elucidation. Do you know how many of these Umberhulks there are? Do they number in?
Oh, a good question for before accepting the job. We haven't. I think the last time I was there was about 2 or 3, but you might expect 4. There's a good number of you, and you seem well equipped.
I think 4 may be within the scope and bounds of reason. You mentioned a temporary mental bastion. Can you elucidate for what duration once we've performed this task on 4 Umbrellas?
Yes, most certainly. It is a sort of charm we mean to put upon you. It is not a specific spell per se. It won't completely protect your mind from, say, a direct psychic attack. But it'll allow you to decide if you wish for telepathic interference or not, which means you can decide to keep voices out of your head or allow them in as you please. And lastly, and most importantly, the resonant psionic energies that are creating, say, the azomites and creating these strange visions here and there as you wander to and fro. It'll keep those things from pervading your mind. So, to keep things simple, it'll protect you from going insane. You'll be able to look upon the city without losing your mind in the process. And these protections, I think, will last, I think it would be fair to say, about a day, which should be more than enough time to slip into Solar and back. It's not far from here, as you can probably imagine by the intensity of things.
And these charms would only include this specific mental bastion. There wouldn't be anything auxiliary associated with them.
You mean auxiliary? You mean, oh, well, you don't want to look like that, is what you're trying to say.
No. Sometimes a little something extra gets added to an arrangement, an enchantment, a charm, one would presume. Beyond the scope of what's to be expected. We wouldn't want to take undue advantage. So we would want to just make sure that everything was open and understood.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yes.
I would like, before we accepted this, would it be permissible to have one of my associates delve into the nature of one of these charms? He is quite a learned individual, particularly in the realms of the arcane, and his opinion on efficacy may help us decide whether this is a wholly equitable arrangement.
I see. I think we would be more than happy to add something, as you put it, auxiliary to this charm, but it is no more than we describe. What you get for the deal that we intend to make is what you would gain, is a little help to see what is unseen. Other than that, we will keep our special charms and other powers to ourselves, though deals, of course, can be made for such things. As for the actual studying of the charm, I wouldn't recommend it. There's a reason why we look the way we do and why we're able to do the things we can. And unless your friend wants to live in a cabin several miles under a lawn, look like they've fucked an octopus, I don't think that he might enjoy learning what we have to do. If you understand what I mean.
I understand entirely that knowledge has a cost.
Oh, does it ever? My boy, yeah, who doesn't?
So
he can, but I wouldn't recommend it. And nothing extra shall be added other than what is being described.
So, in exchange, in summary, so in exchange for eliminating the up to four Umberhulks, we would receive each a charm that would provide a mental bastion against the immediate psychic influences of this space and the city of Silar that will last for a 24-hour day.
Exactly. I will even throw this in there. This is the one, and she'll point to Glint, the one you had previously wished to comprehend what it is we intend to do.
To serve as a quality check.
To make things, and she'll look at you, Glenn, see, to make things rather simple of what we attempt to do here, what the charm will do is take the things that are being put in your mind that are incomprehensible or disturbing, and they will essentially dumb those things down so that they seem normal enough to deal with. They'll take the alterations that are being implanted into your mind and alter them further so that they don't disturb the delicacy of mortal psyche.
So you are, in a way, creating a counter-glamour of mundanity, effectively.
I like the way you worded it. A counter-glamour. It's a perfect way to describe it.
You are very clever.
I'm sure I disagree with you on that. I'm quite sure I do.
And it lasts the full 24 hours.
That's right. You all seem very nervous. If it gives you all any assurances, neither me or my sister have ever stepped into the Feywild before. In or out. We are not creatures of that realm.
Oh.
No.
Thank you.
appearances can be quite deceiving. Not all old ugly women are come available.
You're very concerned with your appearance.
Wouldn't you be? Look at me.
We are grateful for your assistance.
You're quite welcome. And we'll be very grateful for yours when you slay the Umberhulks. Hopefully you'll be kind enough that if there is more than 4, that you would be so kind as to help 2 old ladies just trying to get by in a world that doesn't even want to look at them. But I don't expect
I think we can do it.
Yes. Yeah,
I
well,
believe.
do not worry. I do not need a drop of blood or you to sign any strange parchments or anything like that. You know the deal. Come back, and if the deal is done to our satisfaction, we will provide our counterplan, as it's put.
What proof of performance do you require?
I do not think we require any. Me and my sister have the ability to ensure that the deal has been done to satisfaction. So, if you'd like some directions, it's not very hard. Head back the way you came, and when you're peeking out the door, take the. She'll say the directions. So, take the tunnel right to where you entered from, and follow it all the way down. And I have no doubt you'll hear them bashing against the walls. Not very hard to find, or very far.
Wonderful.
Well then, I suppose we should be off.
I suppose you should.
We will
If there's nothing
be on
else
our
you
way.
want from us, then yes, indeed, proceed, and hopefully we'll hear from you soon. With that,
Shall we?
you may all file out the door and find yourselves back in the almost jungle-like cavern that you followed the ladies through, or followed the one lady through to find the other. And with that, a deal has been struck. No drops of blood or infernal contracts, as far as you can tell. And yeah. What are you doing? What do you say? Where are you going? What's the plan?
The instant we get outside the door and the door's closed, before we've moved off too terrible far.
Yeah.
Everybody assume that we're being observed.
Absolutely.
Of course.
Beverly sort of almost seems to shiver at the idea. Carsey sort of like makes himself look proper.
And after we walk a little bit further on, I will very, not super loudly, but with a degree of confidence, tell Beverly, their house is made mostly of wood. If they were to harm you, I can guarantee you they will not find them in the ashes that will remain.
She's kind of like gripping the spear, almost like suddenly she's not scared so much of the witches, maybe a little more at you, Ember. She's like, oh, thank you, Mr. Ember. Thank you. Okay.
One doesn't put a hand on my family and do it without recompense.
Oh, okay. Thank you. That's very It's very nice of you to say. Thank you.
And Finch will like pat them on the shoulder and like just kind of gesticulate, like kind of bring them along, like reassuringly.
She goes,
Above the table, if Bev ever goes on a date, could you imagine someone coming to pick her up and the Aurora Concordant is there?
no, they're coming. Who's coming? My family. Run! Dear God, run for your life. I think she definitely saddles up next to Finch and kind of is like, I'm not sure if the old ladies are more scary or if Ember's more scary.
That's a valid point. I think Ember is the one that they should be afraid of. So,
yeah, you may be right on that.
I'm glad he's on our side.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
me too.
Does Glint know anything of Umberhulks, I suppose?
Make me a nature check.
Alrighty.
Ooh, can
Or
I
you could
do?
go to Zarvol's school of how to kill an Umberhulk. Because he rolled pretty good.
21.
21? Or however the kid says it. Alright. So you know a couple of things about Umberhulks, sure. The first of which is that, of course, they are subterranean creatures. They are incredibly strong. Like most peak level, like human athletes or humanoid athletes, I should say, can hardly compare to their raw muscular strength. They have digging powers. They have a very thorough constitution. The chitin on their back is as strong as steel. So they're tough bruiser type creatures. Their natural defense is how fucking hard they hit and how well they can't take it. They have large mandibles. They have sort of a rust-colored, like that insect hairy sort of shell, and they also have some there's some debate whether they have actual psionic powers or if it's just sort of like one of those almost like peacock defense mechanisms. But they say that when you look into the eyes of an Umberhulk, they can scramble your brain, essentially. Not permanently, but certainly long enough to get the advantage on you and kill you. They're often thought to be related to abominations, but they are considered monsters. They are underground creatures through and through. They delve through solid rock, leaving tunnels in their wake. They are dangerous burrowing creatures, and again, they can scramble the minds of people who look them in the eye.
Understood. Alrighty. Glenn would relay that to Zarvolg just to compare notes, as Zarvolg is a ranger.
I think you two would come out with a similar knowledge basis of that. Strong, durable, confusing gaze.
Yeah, they're big nasty bastards.
And it seems keeping distance is almost the ideal, just given the effects of their eyes.
That's just my game.
That is true. I believe I have some spells that can help me engage with them. And I'll make sure to keep my precious children here out of harm's reach if I can.
What'd you say?
And you don't want your little friends there getting smacked around by these things.
I certainly do not. They're still more fragile than I would like. I'm working on it, but for the moment.
Meanwhile, around where Finch is standing, Tarzy's walking with Beverly. Goes, all right, kid, this is it. This is your shot. We're going to battle Hulks, which means they must be big. So, you need anything? He goes, sure. I mean, I've got the spear. That should help. He goes, right, okay. I've got something for you. Here, you'll like this. All right, ready? he'll put his arm on her shoulder, and you'll see some of the sigils on his arm will actually travel down his arm and across her armor, and will sort of like pulse, and you'll almost see like for a second it's a visible weight, almost like magical shield, and it sort of dissipates like mage armor. He goes, "There, I have instilled you with my Aegis runes, as Gilmore calls them, so you should have a little protection when you go up against them. So if you get punched, you won't die." She goes, "Wow, thanks, Mr. Carsey. That's really nice of you." He goes, "Yeah, and if you want to bring fire too, I can make that happen." He goes, "Okay, sure, why not?" And Carsey will just kind of like pump her up, basically. "This is both of our chance to be famous adventures. Come on!" And he'll just sort of drag her along, and she'll be happy to be dragged along. You guys go on to fight some Umberhulks and make good on a deal to have your minds protected from the dangers of Solar ahead. Who knows what lies ahead, but luckily you'll have some super ugly ladies on your side. And that is where we will end the session for tonight. Next week, Umberhulks and maybe even Solar.
All right.
Wonderful. Thank you for
Well, that's
listening.
terrifying.
I see no way this will go poorly.